This is API Vtuber Talks Episode 1, Series 2, Episode 1. We're coming back for a second year for this very special series in which we interview AAPI Vtubers from both the US and Canada. We talk about our experiences and have various aspects of API culture. And, yeah. Without further ado, I want to introduce today's topic, which is AAPI food culture. Now, notably, last year I skipped food culture because personally I think Asian Americans talk about food a lot. We always like to talk about like sneaky lunches and, Korean barbecue and yada yada. I think it's so overplayed. But after meeting my co hosts today and having some very deep discussions with them, come to realize that there's a lot to talk about when it comes to food and culture and memory and racism. And for that reason, I am overjoyed to introduce today's co-host, Dank. Dank, tell me a bit about yourself.
Hey everybody. Self-proclaimed foodie, having a food science degree and very ingrained in my culture. I'm very excited to talk about it with everyone today.
Thank you very much, Dank. And Dank, what is your ethnic background?
I'm half Cambodian and half native Chinese, Lumian.
Thank you very much. I'm your host, Atramentum. I am Asian American. My parents are from the South American country of Guyana, and I have Indian American ancestry. I want to introduce our panel as well. We've brought back some familiar faces and a new face as well. So let's start off with Squeee Queen.
Hey everyone, Squee, Shadow VTuber, a lot of people know that. I am Asian American, I'm also mixed, I'm half black, half Filipino. My food background is mostly just pretty much like I had to just start cooking at the age of 6 and then I had to learn how to take care of myself, but also there's a lot of our family members who are in the restaurant business, so I learned a lot from that as well.
Thank you very much, Squee. Last year, Squeak was on LGBT and proud. We talked about the experience of being out and proud in the Asian American community, and I'm overjoyed to bring Squeak back onto the podcast. Making their first appearance on this series, but previously on the depths as well, is Zandra Nightshade.
Hi, my name is Zandra Nightshade. I am a changeling VTuber obsessed with all things botanical, especially the poisonous kind. I'm fully Filipino, and if you've grown up Filipino, you know we love food, so I've been around it quite a bit. I still haven't quite debuted yet, so if you peep over at my channel and see my face, please do not be jump scared. I will debut when I debut, but I'm so glad to be here and just talk about food, so yeah.
This series is home to so many secret debuts. We had a secret debut last year, isn't that right, Cootie? But I'm overjoyed to bring Zandra onto this as well. Thank you and welcome, Zandra. Also making a return to the series this year, and also from last year's LGBT episode, is Efris.
Hi guys, it's Efris the Gorgon. I'm your Chinese Canadian representation over here. I'm glad to come in and talk to everybody about food because, we grew up eating our food and it's popular now. What the fuck?
So Efris kind of cut out there, but Efris is a...
Oh, did I?
Yes.
My bad.
Yeah. Efris is a Gorgon VTuber, Chinese Canadian. And yeah, they love food, they love to cook. They're an excellent cook, actually, and a baker. All right, so chat, you're allowed to ask questions of our panelists, and I've got some questions prepared as well. So to start us off, I am going to talk about the effect of food and memory. So I'm going to talk about... I'm going to use this question here. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. Speaking for yourself...
On your own show?
Yeah, I know. Speaking for yourself, what dish or dishes carries memories for you that links to your childhood? Was it important to you to learn to make it on your own, or is it a case that no one makes it like mom or dad?
All right, who wants to go first?
I gotta
I
think.
guess I'll go first. So I grew up in a very Cantonese family, and everything was homemade. We didn't ever buy anything. Very rarely bought anything unless it was deep fried. Because my grandma hated deep frying stuff. She always said it stank up the house. So that's like whenever we went to get takeout, it was deep fried stuff. But otherwise, there was just one thing that I loved that you guys probably know about is turnip cake, the steamed turnip cake that you get pan fried at dim sum, and I've been trying for years to recreate it from memory since she passed. I have not ever been able to do it properly. I don't know if it's just grandma magic or what. Like, has anyone had that problem besides me trying to recreate something? But like, or is it just my memory messing with, and that it's actually good, but
I feel like nostalgia plays a very heavy role in the way we perceive food.
No, I
I
totally
agree.
agree. I've tried to like remake stuff that, my lolas and titas have made. And sometimes I get really close, but then it doesn't hit the same way that like when they make it, And I don't know why. Like I follow the recipe like word for word, but it just doesn't taste the same. It's not a bad thing, but like I totally get what you mean.
And I think it also depends on where you live. For me, living in a state that doesn't have many Asian stores at all, unless I drive like 2 to 3 hours out, yeah, that it's really hard for me to even try and remake any type of like Asian food at all. So it's usually just a lot of me kind of making it my own way or kind of messing with it a little bit or trying to get it as close as I can. But it will never really taste like home. So if I even want something or I'm craving something, sometimes like especially there's a lot of Filipinos on this couch right now that like trying to get like Goldilocks or Red Ribbon. Sometimes you can get those like flown out to you now or shipped out to you now, depending on like where you live. Which are Goldilocks and Red Ribbon are like baked goods and stuff like that that you can get if you're from California. When I crave those, like that's kind of the best way I can get like pandesal or like ensamadas or something like that, where I can usually get something along those lines and at least it'll fulfill that craving, but I can't make it at home. But it's really tough when you live in a part of America that you really can't get access to the things that you need to get the food that you want. Like there was a Filipino restaurant that was only open for like less than a year and they were selling lumpia, the egg rolls, for like
Yes.
I think they were selling them for $10 and you only get 4 of them.
That's
Oh.
wild.
oh,
Yeah. Yep, and you wonder why. They didn't last very
Oh.
He makes in
sucked.
chat says Asian food desert. I got that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
I
tough.
would try.
I think they were just trying to make it seem because it was the only Filipino restaurant, within like a 3-hour drive. So they were trying to make it kind of more expensive and kind of cater to the white community that is based here. And it worked for a little bit, and then it kind of stopped after that because it was getting pretty pricey. Yeah.
I'm a bit older, so I remember the time for the internet before you can get anything shipped out to you. I'm from New York, of course, but like I went to school in upstate New York, so there was one Asian grocer, Kim's grocery store, that had all of the Asian things. So everything from like Filipino pandesal to like kimchi, and that was it. End of story. And I just imagine that like most towns, even in like upstate New York, just had the one Asian grocer for everybody.
That was definitely like that in my hometown. Like I lived in like the reddest part of my state, like out in the middle of nowhere, and we had to drive maybe like 45 minutes. It's just like a tiny little convenience store, but they had all of the Filipino staples and all of that. They lasted for like a decade, and it was like the best part of my week whenever we'd go there. We got really like close with the owners and everything. But then once it was gone, it was gone. Like it hits different when you're like in places that don't have like Asian markets or stuff like that.
Absolutely.
I tell everyone like I live in a land of abundance. I live next to an Asian store, and then there's another one like maybe a mile away or so. But when I moved out of this city briefly, when I was a kid, I didn't even know how many Asian stores were here. When I moved out of the city briefly for a good 10 years, I was severely depressed because then I realized there's so many of like my foods that I grew up eating that I couldn't eat anymore, which included rice. And for me, that was like a huge blow because that was like 90% of my meals were rice. And I understand the grandma black magic when it comes to cooking too, because I grew up having an overabundance of grandmothers. I had four grandmas, and the one that I lived with for the longest, I remember when I was little, she used to make like huge and elaborate meals, and a lot of them were green curry or yellow curry, in which I'm pretty sure their names in Cambodian Thai just translate to green curry or yellow curry or chicken curry. And I remember the most growing up that there was a strange vegetable. I sometimes remember the name of it, but it's like this little, like a cousin of the tomato, and it's like striped and green. And we would eat that a lot. And I hated them growing up, but now I kind of appreciate them. And thinking about Grandma Black Magic, I'm just like, I don't think I can ever make curry the way that she does it, or even how my dad makes when he does his crab boils. He does this like very unique sauce for the crab that he tosses it in. It's like coconut milk and mint, and I've never had anyone else make it, and I've never had it anywhere
That does
else. My
sound
dad
really good.
refuses to tell me the recipe for it.
I had mint like just growing wild last year in my garden. Like I had more mint than I know what to do with, honestly. I was throwing it in my wok. I was like, putting it in.
Mint is the
Tasty
easiest thing to
beans.
grow, and it's the funniest thing. It's like, oh, I'm gonna grow mint, and then suddenly, oh my god, it's
Mint.
everywhere.
Everywhere.
I'm gonna grow mint. Oh, now I have a forest.
I know my mint lawn.
What's in the forest? Oh no, just mint.
I learned my lesson. I'm not growing mint this year. I'm going to grow sage and oregano instead.
You know what? That reminds me, Atra, I have to send you some kaffir lime leaves.
Yes,
Ooh.
please. Oh my god, I can't find any.
Ooh.
I'm actually going to grow
You
Thai
guys-
basil myself because you can't get it here like that.
Speaking of, since you guys, some of you mentioned living in an Asian food desert, have you guys ever experienced the Asian backyard or the grandma's garden?
Oh my
Someone-
god.
Yes.
Oh
my God,
man.
It is amazing.
My grandma's yard we had like we were on a corner lot. So one side was flowers and the other side of the wire fence was literally just peas. That whole side of the fence was just peas, and we were never hurting for fresh. It was
pea?
no, yeah, literally it was just peas on the fence, and then like we had like perilla leaves and green onions. Nothing crazy. It wasn't like super. We would always have the stuff that we like.
We grew
That's a core memory.
and continue to grow bitter melons. So many bitter melons.
Ooh.
Oh my god, yes,
Mm.
bitter melons.
I'll
Actually,
be showing you guys in like 3 months. I'm going to have more bitter melon than I know what to do with.
ooh.
I'll be stir frying
Awesome.
bitter melon and mint.
Do it with egg.
God.
Put it in egg.
Oh my god, actually, egg. No, yeah, for real, please.
Actually, yeah, I did chicken,
Yeah.
egg, and bitter melon last year quite a bit.
Nice.
I'll
Yeah.
trade you kaffir lime leaves for bitter melon.
I don't think that's an equal trade.
That shit's expensive
can't
here,
grow
actually.
Cootie, oh
We
my
can't grow
god.
bitter melon here.
Everything is expensive. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Don't remind me. Oh my god.
Not to get hashtag political. Another question is: have you noticed how the tariffs have actually been affecting our Asian food that we're getting?
Yup.
Mhm.
Haven't done it yet, but
I'm sorry, what? This happy Canadian over here not noticing any. I'm kidding.
okay, we gotta smuggle
love
in.
you guys.
We gotta smuggle kaffir lime leaves from Canada. now.
Lime leaves.
We did have a question earlier in chat from Glenn Gooseman who asks, "What's a common misconception about Asian food cooking that you wish more people knew about?"
Goodness.
As a common one, y'all, we're clean, please.
Thank
I think one of the
you.
biggest
Thank
things
you.
is just like, oh, I don't know why. I mean, we're like, oh, this stuff looks
Breathe,
dirty,
breathe.
and I'm like,
Yeah,
Deep breaths.
really.
I mean, there's
Like, I
an
don't know, like,
obvious answer.
Oh my
We all know
goodness.
what the obvious answer is.
Mhm.
Sorry, little feral there. I want a feral.
I
It's
think,
just so frustrating.
the big misconception with Asian food is that every Asian woman can cook. That's the one.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Is like, oh, I want an Asian wife because she knows how to cook, and it's like, chances are they probably don't.
It's a missing
Yep.
Asian wife. Yep.
Yeah.
No, she probably can't because she was studying, and mom would chase them out of the kitchen instead.
Exactly.
Like, go study.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, learn how to be a lawyer or a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no time for cooking. We gotta be a doctor. We gotta study. What are you talking about?
If I'm answering the question, I'd say, listen, all Indian food isn't spicy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
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 Actually, very sweet.
There is creamy, there's like mild, there is
Mhm.
savory,
Mhm.
there is
Mhm.
sweet. There's different flavor profiles. It's not just The Simpsons where everything burns your asshole, you know?
Oh my god.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, that's Cambodian food.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just variety in all of our food, right? It's just
I would say so, yeah.
right.
I would say islanders don't only just eat spam. Is one.
But spam is delicious.
Oh,
Spam is delicious. Don't
I
get
do
it
like
twisted.
spam. I do like
love spam. I'm just saying it's not in everything.
Fried pompano.
Ugh.
oh God, you reminded me of how my Filipino friend was
I'm-
like, here's a picture of our spam aisle. We have every spam
Yeah.
ever made.
Oh my god.
No way. No way.
For
Am I
those
supposed
in
to
chat
marvel
who
at
don't
that?
know-
What?
Well, actually, who wants to tell chat why spam is such a big deal in the islands?
Yes, the history of spam.
Oh, okay,
I'm not gonna lie.
it's the U.S. military.
Yeah, okay. I was like,
I was waiting for our co-host to do it.
That's correct.
Anywhere there was a U.S. military base, the islanders the cuisine features spam because the islanders
Yeah.
would trade for surplus military goods. In fact, in Korea, if you know what budae jjigae is, that is
Mm.
My
army-based
favorite.
stew.
My
Ah,
favorite.
potato.
It's so
Oh.
good.
Because after the war, people were starving. They'd put whatever they can get from the army base. So spam, Kraft
Mhm.
cheese singles, ramen noodles, whatever they could trade the GIs for.
The
Basically,
beans was
the bones.
crazy.
Beans, yes, beans, exactly. Canned beans. It's a starvation
I'm-
food that and now it's like, comfort food, but back in the day it was a starvation food, and it's directly from the
Mhm.
U.S. military.
Mm-hmm.
I've
It
never
is kind of
had,
wild out loud.
honestly.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm the weird one here. I've never had that.
It's all good.
You can just make it, honestly. It's so easy.
Yeah, it's really not that hard.
It's just a stew. Just throw everything in. Kitchen
Yep.
sink. You're good.
Yeah, and it's just tasty.
So
I was gonna
what
say
food from like your culture do you guys find like being the most comforting to eat? Very specifically, just like if you're like really sad and you want to remember something or you want to feel better about yourself, what's your favorite comfort food from your culture?
that's hard.
I mean, I have to like make a decision. Oh no.
I'm pan for this reason. So it's weird. I don't know how to describe this. I don't know, again, for the other amazing Filipinos on this couch. Avocado, milk, and sugar. I don't know
Oh.
why that becomes my comfort food. It's something that my grandparents used to make me when it was hot out.
Like a smoothie?
No, like it's just in a bowl. Like it's cut up pieces of avocado, cold
Oh.
milk, or you put ice cubes in the milk and then you sprinkle sugar on top and you just eat it like that. It was
Oh.
something that would just cool down us as kids, and it
Right.
was also a sneaky way for us to eat fruit. So
Fair.
that and oh my gosh, I'm forgetting. Cantaloupe juice is something I crave.
Oh.
Cantaloupe juice
cantaloupe
is something that I
juice.
crave all the
I
time.
love so much.
I'm so sorry.
Actually, get the fuck out.
I'm so
Get the fuck
sorry.
out.
Okay, fine, I'm
You-
leaving.
I knew that was coming. But
Spoiled it.
More for me.
This man don't like melons. That's what he's telling us.
I don't like melons, no.
More for me.
Oh.
Gas.
Jeez.
more for me.
Gas.
But like
I
that's
do-
something that I crave all the time, especially in the summers when I'm here. I'm like out and about. Like I'm like, oh, I
Dude,
could
I
really
haven't
go for
thought
a
about it
cantaloupe
in
juice.
so long, and now I'm not
Mhm.
gonna stop thinking about it.
I'm
Oh
so
no.
sorry.
Yeah, that's I don't remember, but I know that's a thing in many like Central Asian cultures is the fruit bowl. It's basically just like coconut milk and any fruit or vegetable.
Yeah.
So 100%, I'm pretty sure your grandparents were doing that to force you to eat avocados.
For sure.
Yeah.
It works. It works.
Well, because my grandmother couldn't use like the melon baller thing because her hands, you know.
Mhm,
So for
mhm.
some odd reason she was fine. I was like, you could have just cut them up just into like cubes or something and put them in. She's like, it's not the same. And I was like, okay.
It's true, it's
Sure.
not the same. Traditionally, they are like whatever the fruit is. They just turn them into balls because it matches the size and shape of the tapioca pearls that they put in.
Yeah. What's the name of the smaller ones? I always forget.
Sago?
I always forget too.
Thank you.
So go, yeah.
Sago?
Yeah.
Sago. Yeah, that's it. It's sago.
Yeah, that's the thing that like I also like. I always have a hard
Coconut
time
milk.
cooking, so I can't do it. So I never put it
It's
in
hard
there
though.
anymore.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's tough.
But coconut milk with sago? Ugh.
Oh, God, I love coconut milk sago.
So good.
So
Well,
actually,
that's
you
Can't
guys,
know that.
Yeah.
Huh? What?
Yeah, Dra.
okay.
Huh?
So you guys touched on this before, but I want to come back to it actually. Why do you think that, aside from possibly Japanese food, that traditional Asian food in the West has a reputation for being quote-unquote dirty? How do you feel about attempts to rebrand it as clean or healthy?
Oh.
Makes me so angry.
Oh, Zandra has feelings.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. Go for it.
What?
Feelings.
Well, I don't. I think there's this pattern, right, of combining one or types of Asian cuisine with either European or American cuisine, and then it's because they consider those techniques to be fundamental or classic. They want to promise something, right, that's different and cultural while using this Western element to, most times, honestly, overcharge guests for something as simple as, let's say, tofu, right? It constantly sends like this message that non-Westernized cuisines aren't good enough to stand alone, and I think they really are good enough to stand alone. It doesn't need to be Americanized to be enjoyed or respected, and sometimes kind of like the very suggestion, right, of implementing modernization pretty much implies that any, I guess, like cultural Asian dish no longer serves a purpose in our diet, which, you know, couldn't be farther from the truth. And I mean, like, that's disheartening to see how some of these cultural foods that have long been deemed disgusting by the same group of my parents are willing to buy the westernized versions. Like, why?
It's like my Chinese soy milk. My Chinese soy milk that comes in a 4-gallon jug is not good enough for you. So you gotta buy the 2-gallon one that costs 3 times more, even though it's the exact same thing. Oh yeah, no. If you look at like silk soy milk, it costs twice as much as your Chinese soy milk.
Oh my god.
But Effy, that has 20 grams of protein.
I hate it here.
Soy milk, but it's the same. It's the same. I mean, if you say you didn't have enough room for the 4-gallon jug, I would understand. I would understand, but
But
It's like
Effy,
also
this
the-
is organic soy milk.
And that was what I was waiting for. I was waiting for the organic part.
these beans are as organic as they can be because I'll just shove them up.
Oh my.
It's
But
also,
Effy,
like,
this is artisanal soy milk.
Oh my
my
god.
Can we can someone throw something at him with tits, please? Please, you know what? I'll do it myself. I will do it myself. No, there's no tits today. Fuck.
Oh, shame.
This is
Angie.
a serious podcast.
Angie.
So serious.
Angie.
This is also like a huge thing that like I love that my boss is so cultured actually. It's a massive thing that we talk about in work with our manufacturing business, that it's just largely xenophobia, where America has this obsession with things made in the US regardless of its actual quality. They
Yes.
insist that because
yeah.
it's made in the US that it's a higher quality, and that also has to go for the food. If you've I put a bunch of videos here or there into the food culture thing, but a lot of people insist that because it's not made in the U.S., it's dirty and it's
Mhm.
updated because they just don't understand the chemical processes that go into making traditional Asian food. Like lye water, for example, there are different kinds of lye water, and some kinds are actually safe for you to eat. And lye is actually a very traditional thing that you use in Chinese cooking. But for
Mhm.
whatever reason, the European and Western market don't understand how to use lye. They don't understand how the chemical process for it works, even if, it's actually fairly simple. They just think that, oh my god, because we use lye for soap, that means that the Chinese people who use lye for food are uncultured because they
Poisoning
we
them.
do it differently than they
Yep.
do, and that's xenophobia at its finest, really.
Mm-hmm.
Like the MSG argument,
Mm-hmm.
and all of it is just to go, oh well, see, our stuff is better because we understand how it works, and we don't understand where MSG comes from. It comes from seaweed. It's just like seaweed dust on top of a seaweed. It's
Mhm.
kombu.
And mushroom.
Mushroom.
That entire
Mushroom.
panic about Chinese food having MSG was based on flawed logic because it was the sodium, it was the salt that was put into the food to appeal to American taste buds in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So, as Cutie mentions in chat, Chinese restaurant sickness was actually just them not drinking enough water after having Chinese food.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But to
Speaking of
this
water,
day,
everyone
like-
hydrate.
Yeah,
I literally just had a sip of water while you were
Very
doing
good.
that.
My Chi Forest peach flavored sparkling water.
Oh yeah.
Close enough.
But, like,
Tony
to this
Bourdain,
day,
bless
like,
his heart.
Chinese restaurants will like profess to have no MSG in their food because they still is this enduring like legacy of like they need to like profess the cleanness of their food. And it's ironic because at the turn of the century, like where does this stereotype of like Jewish people eating Chinese food on Christmas come from, actually? Is it because Chinese restaurants are open during Christmas? No. Actually, it's because of the idea of safe trafe, which was that Jews actually found the food to be safe to eat compared to the other food that was available at the time. It was the closest thing to kosher that they can get on the Sabbath, was eating Chinese food.
Yep.
So long before people had these racist views about Chinese food, it was considered the safest thing you could eat.
Crazy how that works out, huh?
Yeah.
Or just, they think that it's us minorities just plotting against the white man.
Basically, yeah. That's actually where a lot of it comes from, is that
I know.
they think that minorities are encroaching on their businesses when it comes to XYZ, so then they come up with some flawed argument over why, well, my food is better than your food. And it just kind of comes down to like a really, just a why would you say that?
It doesn't make I think the most recent one I saw, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but on Dragon's Den, the Canadian version of Shark Tank, a pair of Quebecois. Oh, you guys heard about the bubble tea?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh my god, yeah.
Continue, please.
So for those of you guys that don't know, we have a show in Canada called Dragon's Den, which is the equivalent of Shark Tank. And Simu Liu was on the panel for that episode. And these two Quebecois come up and start pitching this cleaner, less ethnic, with better ingredients, canned bubble tea to the dragons. And Simu, poor Simu, was sitting there just looking at them like, so what's wrong with regular bubble tea? Because they're like, oh, it's better for you. There's fewer ingredients, cleaner ingredients. It's like, so why do they feel the need to gentrify it when it's perfectly fine?
There is
Or
no
is it that they're not
innovation in bubble tea that Taiwan has not tried already.
Yeah, and are they trying to make it better for us, or are they trying to capitalize on our culture?
Yep,
Exactly.
that's the question right there.
It suited them for profit.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, capitalizing on Asian culture is the big trend these days. Coming from the one of the places where the boba tea craze is boomed and probably one of the biggest progenitors of that, it definitely seems like it's hard for people outside of the market of Asian food to get into it, and they're trying really hard to get into it because, weeaboos think, and this is another question I'll bring up later, but like weeaboos generally tend to think that like, oh my god, it's Asian, so it's Japanese and it's cool, and that's
God. Oh, I hate it.
Flashbacks to the early 2000s.
Yep.
yeah, right. Trendy
What a
Asian food,
time! What a
Japanese cool.
time!
I want to come back to like your favorite comfort food growing up topic, because I feel like for a lot of us that's very deeply ingrained in culture, but also like the stories of like our families and where they come from, what shaped those stories as well.
I mean, it's always going to be curry rice for me. I mean, that's not
Mm.
technically part of like. Well, yeah, I guess it is. Like curry rice definitely is like my comfort food, and I think number two would probably be something called this is Indo-Caribbean food, something called doubles, which is like a
Balls.
yeah, it's a roti with like a chickpea curry in it, and it's like spicy and it's like handheld, and it's just really like soft and chewy, and it's just like a good like after school snack basically that you can kind of get, and it's really really good.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah,
It does sound
super good.
I think I'll go look for some after this.
you gotta
Or
go
make it
find like
yourself.
a Trinidadian or like Guyanese shop they're gonna have it.
Oh, I'm gonna have to drive 3 hours for that. I'm
Yeah,
okay with
probably.
that.
Man, I'm stuck between two. On one hand, I have something called taho, which is, I guess you can call it a dessert or snack.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's made
So
with
good.
tofu. Normally it's warm, brown sugar syrup, and then
Mhm.
sogo, the little tapioca pearls. And it was always like super comforting to me. I remember when I'd go back to the Philippines, I would actually, as a kid, with my cousins, wait outside for the person to come by with the hoe, and we'd have.
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh, the Tahoe uncle.
Yes,
Yes.
favorite part of my day. And it's weird because like it's very hot in the Philippines, but like for some odd reason this like warm sweet dessert felt like home. Like it was one of my favorite like comfort desserts. And then other than that, the other thing that I was stuck on, I was like, you know what, I don't know, I love I love sinigang. It's
good.
It's good. It's like and it's gonna sound really weird, it's like a sweet and sour like tamarind based soup, and it can be made a number of different ways. So you can either have fish, pork belly, spare ribs, corned beef. Has a lot of different veggies, like kind of like the perfect soup when you're sick or if it's very cold out. For me, I'll eat it any season of the year.
It's just good no matter what.
It's just
Like
good.
yeah,
I will sweat through it.
yeah, I feel like it's worth
Yes.
it because it also feels like it doesn't matter if you are actually sick or just going through a hard time. It feels like it feels like a warm hug, no matter if it's like, 100 degrees out. Like it's just the perfect like dish in the sense of just kind of covering all the bases. So I'm with you on that.
Definitely. Yeah.
Mm.
Anyone else have any favorite?
You guys probably have a similar thing in Filipino food. It's congee.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like it's just like my family was decently poor when I was growing up, so my favorite thing that my grandpa would make for me when I was having a rough day, arroz caldo. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think arroz caldo is our closest
Yeah.
comparison.
Yeah, congee. Yeah. And ours was really simple. It was just like salted pork and carrots. And that would just make me the happiest little kid in the world. So simple.
Sweet and simple, and it doesn't need to be, expand. I think there was an actual kanji like controversy. I don't know how long ago.
Oh my god, yeah, there was.
I don't know.
There was.
I think you might know what I'm talking about, but I don't know the specifics.
There were two. There were two of them. There was the one that really gets me every time. And everyone's like, "What do you mean you don't like Sung Woo Cho, the voice actor?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, I don't like
Oh
him because he said
yeah.
that eating kanji makes you poor,
Yep.
and that
Huh? Yep.
poor Asian people that eating soy sauce on your rice was for white people, and kanji is a white people dish." That's something he genuinely said. As a
What?
Oh,
you know,
That's a
I
odd thing to say.
strongly dislike you.
I mean, well, he is Korean, so maybe it's just a very non-Korean thing.
Very non.
I do think it's
guess.
rooted in just like racism, you know.
Well, actually, that's a
think-
good transition to this next question.
Mhm.
What obligation do today's restaurateurs have to stay true to cultural dishes they take inspiration from? And does your answer change if they are from that community?
Hmm. I mean, I think there's like a fine line between like adapting aspects of food to enhance its appeal and losing its essence altogether. And we have seen multiple instances of people making things and making it lose its essence altogether. And it's all about like context and understanding. And I think the people who seek to do that should seek out the stories behind what we eat, especially when venturing to where they originated from.
Mhm.
So that's all I could really hope for when something, I guess, becomes westernized, for lack of better wording, that there is that still core essence.
Mhm.
And obviously, hopefully, not just for profit or making it pretty.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it's tough, right? Like, especially like I said, in my area where I live, there are a few like Asian restaurants out here, but you can clearly tell that they changed their dishes to fit a like Western palate, and so it doesn't really taste the same. Like if you grew up with a certain dish, or even just like I remember I went to a Chinese restaurant, and it literally felt like I was eating from Panda, which is not a bad thing. It caught me off guard because I was so excited. And it's again, we just kind of notice it, and I'm also noticing it with like the Mexican restaurants out here, and just like it's just kind of that's just what's happening. Or like if you do go to a Japanese restaurant, which is mostly just like very basic sushi rolls, but they don't have like any entrees of any like kind, or if they have a bento box, it's like you have the shrimp tempura, some sort of protein, and like a salad, and like that's it. And you're like, like I think we just got a ramen place like a month ago. And it's like the first one that they've had that's not in, again, I'm in PA, so like in Philly or Pittsburgh or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's frustrating.
I understand. I feel like respect for the culture goes a long way when it comes into like actually making the food. If not the technique, then the respect for the food itself. You know? There are definitely a lot of Asian-owned restaurants out here. A big chain here in California, I think it's like primarily in Northern California, is like Ramen 101.
Yep.
And they also own one like a Hot Pot 101. And I feel like they kind of I feel like they're not that great when compared to like anyone else.
No, I
Because
agree with
it
you.
very much feels like the capitalize on Japan cool kind of thing.
You know? Yes.
I was curious what you guys think about like Korean barbecue / hot pot fusion places.
Well, it's
Because-
interesting because like I live in like Queens of New York, so it's like the epicenter of like lots of money coming in from like Asia right now, especially mainland China. So a lot of those places are opening up. They're all you can eat AYCE. So we're getting the best of it right now. And everyone's sort of getting exposure to it. And so in many ways we're getting both. We grew up with like the westernized takeout like Chinese food and Korean food and traditional things. And then we've also got these big money like chancing over. And what I've experienced actually is the places that I went to as a kid in Chinatown don't exist anymore. The noodle shops, the affordable eats, gone.
Oh, I see.
Manhattan rents, too high.
No,
Flushing rents,
crazy. Yeah.
too high. So
Mhm.
either you've got high-end chains from the mainland China and like Korea and Japan coming over, or like you've got like your neighborhood like takeout place, and that's it.
Hmm.
So it's interesting to see because yeah, you can get some pretty high, like I can go get some wagyu right now, right? Like probably some great chain from like Japan coming over, but like I can't get that bowl of noodles I had when I was in high school that I paid like $7 for,
Oh God.
Most of the time, you had to pay an arm and a leg, and it's like not even the real thing.
For real, actually.
I feel like this conversation is really interesting because in Canada, we have a lot of Japanese restaurants that are run by Chinese people or Vietnamese people. And they're not touting authenticity. It's cheap and fast.
Yeah.
So I don't like, what do you guys feel about that side of the coin, right?
A lot
Like,
of Japanese restaurants here are run by Thai people, and that's fine, honestly. They make the food good. You go into the kitchen and it's all Mexican guys, and that's fine. You cannot pay Japanese people enough to live in New York City and make
That's so
ramen.
fair. That's so fair.
Real.
Look, if they know how to roll, if they know how to roll some grass, then they know how to roll sushi. Okay,
You know, facts.
that's like the philosophy here.
Yeah,
The
true.
philosophy
True.
here is like if they know how to roll, then they can roll sushi.
Oh my
It's
God,
the
that's
it's
so
the
funny.
great equalizer. The restaurant industry, the food service industry, everybody back there, it's meritocracy. Like everyone back there can dice food, can like run a stove, like So like if you like fetishize like Japanese hands making your food, then go to Japan, I guess. Like
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, if
Yeah.
you want like really, really authentic stuff, I mean, visit the country, take a vacation, explore, eat stuff.
Not
I mean,
your
respect them, like.
But at the end of the day, everybody's wearing gloves, so it doesn't matter if it's a Japanese hand touching your food or not. So
Yeah, for real,
Yeah, what
actually.
matters is how much they respect the food itself.
exactly,
Right.
Like
exactly.
what goes into making the food, because anyone
Freshness,
can learn
ingredients.
anyone can learn how to cook.
Mhm.
Ratatouille.
Anyone can
Ratatouille.
Famous API icon, Ratatouille. Yes.
No,
Oh my God.
Raccoonie. You know the raccoon who's in the
Oh yeah.
Raccoonie AAPI icon.
Oh my God, hilarious. Love it. Oh my God.
And with that being said, bouncing off of the whole like
His name is
who's
really
making the
Ashford.
food, I do believe that that's a wider conversation of like this is also coming back to the comfort food thing. For me, growing up, we had a lot of donuts because my dad was friends with a lot of people who own donut shops. And being Cambodian, I did not know that growing up as a kid, I just thought that like, oh, everyone just owns a donut shop because that's the thing to do. I didn't know that was like actually deeply ingrained in Cambodian culture. And I'm going to open up this topic by talking about it a little bit and then asking you guys what you know about your own cultural successes. But
Yeah, go for it.
Cambodian people largely came to the US partially because of one, the Khmer Rouge. I'm pretty sure this is going to be something in a different episode. But two, there was a man, Ted Nong, who came here to the US fleeing the Khmer Rouge, and he fell in love with a small donut chain called DK Donuts in Los Angeles. And he just was enthralled by just donuts and seeing people go in and out buying donuts every day. And he was like, wow, if it's that easy to make money by just baking something, then why don't I try? He walked in and asked if he can open his own donut store with like $3,000. And the person there was like, just take a class and we'll teach you how to make donuts. So then he did. And then he opened up his own donut store, and it became incredibly lucrative. And he opened up a ton of other donut stores, and he sponsored like over 100,000 Cambodian people to come to the US by teaching them how to make donuts and opening their own donut stores all over California. And this also comes back to how it's really hard for American businesses to get into places that are like predominantly dominated by Asian-owned companies. So Dunkin' Donuts was at war with LA for a long, long time because they could not get into the California market for donuts because the California market for donuts was so dominated by Cambodian people. And every Cambodian child has their donut story of like, oh yeah, well, when I was a kid, my dad took me to this donut store, and my mom took me to this donut store, or even they were training in a donut store. I remember as a kid, I would just be sitting at home, and my dad would come, like, have somebody knock on the door, and they would just have like this giant box bigger than the person themselves of like this donut, nothing but donuts, every kind of donut you can imagine, and that was my everyday growing up. And I hated them for a little bit. And then I came back after, living in the Asian food desert and had a donut for the first time in 10 years. And I was like, you know what? I think I can appreciate this. I think I can appreciate Cambodian donut.
Aww.
With that being said, what famous food do you partake in that's famous in your culture?
Oh wow, that's a good question.
Super good question. Ooh. I think
So,
maybe I have a. Oh, sorry.
Go for it.
I mean, personally, I think I have a hard time like answering this question because maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm not looking hard enough. But like, I don't find a lot of like Filipino food places popping up around me. It's actually very hard for me to find. Like, there's not even. I guess you can say Max's restaurant might be like a chain, but like I'm pretty sure it's more prevalent in like Cali than it is in like New York and on the East Coast.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm pretty sure there's only one around here, and if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Red Ribbon, Jollibee. I still don't really consider those like like actual like it's a good starter, right? But I don't think it really encompasses Filipino food. So I think there's very, very few places that do, and the good ones always encompass bringing people together. I think there's only one place that I know of. I don't even know if they're still open. So they would, you'd have to like reserve ahead of time, but they would basically let you and your chosen group do what is called what's it called? A boodle fight. I don't know if anyone is familiar. Yeah. Filipino Kamayan, which literally translates to by hand. Basically, you are eating with your hands, and Boodle fight is basically, you share a meal with friends and family, a really big group, over a long table that's lined with banana leaves and filled to the max with all sorts of dishes. We're talking lumpia, turon, ginatang. I don't know, not ginatang, but like plantains, mangoes, anything that you can think of. And it's just to promote like togetherness. It's what's always been done in like Filipino parties and stuff. It's what I remember and what I cherish and also miss. Just those memories of just like house parties, where pretty much every Filipino family in the neighborhood, or even from neighboring towns, would come over. All the lolas and titas would be cooking in the kitchen, and I mean like dozens of people, friends and family, like would come together. They'd bring trays of food. Maybe in another room you'd have karaoke, and
that's what I was gonna say.
I feel like it was the perfect example of eat, drink, and be merry. And unfortunately, there aren't a lot of spots open near me that do that kind of stuff. But I'm hoping in the future there would be stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat because it's just unfortunate. I could drive to Philly, I could drive to Pittsburgh and probably find something that's close. Because I have seen places, and also like again, I'm in central PA, so like I could go to New York, I could go to DC or something, and there's probably something there. But I feel like it's harder because again, living in Los Angeles at one point, like we're born and raised in Los Angeles, like that stuff is just there. You can go down the street, you'll find at least 3 or 4 different types of Filipino like places that do something like that. Or you just have it at home a lot of the time.
I feel like the best place to find it is like house parties.
Exactly, and it's usually my house, and I'm like, yo, I don't want to have to cook this every single time, y'all. Like, I'm getting old. Like, y'all need to cook for me. But like,
you don't need to buy that. We have it at home.
Exactly. Getting expensive out here. And I think that's just the hardest thing. But yeah, I think like if I really if I'm really looking for it, like that would be where it would be, was like a Jollibee or something of that nature, where it's just like a little inkling of it, but it also still is just, it doesn't really hit the same as like sitting around a table or having like your like hundreds of cousins, aunts, uncles, and everybody at the house, and hearing your drunk uncle try to sing Titanic or My Heart Will Go On in the room, and hearing, you know, like I miss hearing like the mahjong tiles hitting the tables in like the garage or something like that. Like I miss those kind of moments, and you can't, yeah, like you can't get that kind of vibe and that kind of feeling from like certain restaurants, but it's also the same thing of like you have to travel if you want to get that, and you have to also hit a certain what amount of people. Sometimes like you can't, yeah, there's like a minimum of like 10 people when you have to do those kind of things, because I was looking into it to do it for like a birthday of mine or something, and it's just, it's tough when you live in a food desert in a sense, and it sucks, but like when you can find those little things, like I said, even if it's just ordering food from Goldilocks or something like that, where I can get the baked goods that I need, like that at least gives me that itty bitty part of comfort and kind of brings me back to those memories, even just a little bit.
That was so descriptive. I really like that, actually.
I feel like Filipino parties are kind of like, you can tell. You just pick out like a couple things and you're like, yep, that's a Filipino party.
Crazy.
You know?
Crazy.
A lot of people don't tend to realize that food invokes feelings in you, very deep feelings of like growing up, or like the nostalgia of it. The whole entire time we've invertibly also been talking about your culture and just growing up and how the food makes you feel. Just very
Absolutely.
small things like a bite of lumpia or just a donut.
It was also awesome that you brought that up, because I didn't realize how much those donut places in California really made a difference. Because having a, technically, in my head, I call a Western donut in the sense of like it's more cakey than like if you go to any of the Asian-owned donut places all around California, you can tell like the dough is very different, the vibe is very different, and it's not the same. So like going to a Dunkin', it's not the same as going to one of those.
Yeah.
And I was just, you know, it was something that I miss all the time. So as soon as I fly home to see my parents and my grandparents and stuff, like the first thing is like, can we find a donut place tomorrow? I need a maple bar so bad. And I just like, it is just ingrained in me that that's like what it was, because my grandpa would drive on his way to drop me off at like kindergarten, would stop at one of those donut places that we went my entire childhood, getting a maple bar, a Nesquik like chocolate milk, and then just dropping me off with all that sugar.
Your problem now.
Yours now.
Or, you know, like getting the bag of donut holes, like that was like the thing, and I would just sit and eat that until it was time to like get ready for school. And my mom was like, "Why do you do this?" And it's like, it's good. It's donuts. You can't be mad. But he would just sit there with his lotto scratchers, you know, like just chilling. So it's really nice that you brought that up. That brought back a whole flood of memories for me.
It's ironic too, because donuts are like, that's an American breakfast.
It is.
Very much so.
It's crazy. But like I can't go into a donut place unless like that makes me like feel like, oh, I'm safe. And if I don't see like a little tiny Asian couple in the back. I'm like, nah, I don't trust this.
It's not like that
scared.
joke, like, you know, if you see the restaurant's good, you see like a kid doing their homework at the table.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know it's
about to be
actual
good.
facts.
You know it's
Yep.
about to be good.
Exactly.
Here's a question.
I was that kid once.
Here's a question in chat from Ranamako. That reminds me, how do you guys feel about that infamous Pokemon scene with the jelly donut?
Yes, I'm so glad someone brought this up.
I might have to be educated. Hold on, I'm a.
Yeah,
Google
That
So
was an
what-
onigiri, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Oh
so
my
what
goodness.
Rena's referencing, in the early localization of Pokemon, in which Misty or Brock, I forgot who, gave
It was Brock.
Pikachu, is Brock, okay. They gave
Yeah.
Pikachu an onigiri, but like the localizers called it a jelly donut, although it was very obviously an onigiri.
Not.
But they just assumed that
I'm so
American
nowhere
kids
close.
They just assumed American kids would not know what an onigiri is, so they just
And it was a type of onigiri, right? It was like the
Yeah.
one with the sour plum or something in the middle. I
Umiboshi,
can't
yeah.
remember. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like infamous for being like the most like earliest like
No
iteration
way.
of like
Sorry, I just looked up the
whitewashing over
screenshot too.
anime. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
All my friends at school were completely convinced that was a jelly donut, and they would try to ask friends or like their parents to like take them to a donut place and ask for a jelly donut, and they would be so disappointed. And I was just like, I don't know what to tell you. That's not a jelly donut.
You see, to me, like this jelly donut thing, it actually is indicative to me because a lot of people in the VTubing world are quite young. Like they're probably early 20s.
Mhm.
People don't realize that the Japan craze is actually pretty recent. Like
Yes,
it's maybe
yeah.
no more than 30 years old. The Japan craze.
I don't
'Cause
want to talk
in
about
the
it.
80s, people hated Japan in the 80s.
They did.
Mhm.
They
You know,
did.
People thought Japan was a threat. People didn't like Japanese people.
Mhm.
It wasn't until
Things.
like the late 80s when Haim Saban brought over like the Power Rangers and like localized a bunch of like anime. that, like,
Yep.
people started to like pay attention to anime and Japanese culture.
Mhm.
And even in the 90s, as you saw in Pokemon, they were still like, "Oh, yeah, this is too Japanese. We can't show the kids this. This is Jelly Donut."
It's so true. It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Now that I think
Yeah.
about it.
Needs to be a little more digestible for
Yeah,
these little
it's
white
more
kids.
digestible, right?
Like,
It's not until
can't-
Digestible. I
Yeah.
made a joke.
Yes. Wasn't until the 2000s that really like the Toonami era that they really started to
Yeah.
embrace the Japanesiness of things, and that's when the Japan like
This is crazy.
yeah,
The
and that's when
Japanese-
that's when the Weeb era took
Japanese-ness.
off. You know, the
Oh,
internet.
yeah.
Early 2000s Weeb era was crazy.
It was wild. It was wild.
I don't know
Now
how to
coming my
feel about that a
VTuber
lot of the
series
time.
based on how Japanese they are.
Yo.
The episode 5 of the series, the early
That's
2000s
true.
Weeb era, it's gonna be wild.
Oh man.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
boy,
That'd be
oh,
great.
boy.
That's gonna hurt.
But like, I
It
guess
actually
ultimately, yeah, going back to the question is more like, I get it, but it's just really funny looking back at it now.
does. Yeah. Yeah, because I think at the time I was kind of like, why did we do this? And then now it's just like, oh no, I know.
Uh,
It's just sad, but it's also hilarious in its own way.
I mean, it's
I
the
wanna-
effect of the internet. The kids were able to
Mhm.
leapfrog like the gatekeepers that were like localizing these shows and putting on TV, and like look for Asian stuff on their own, and they liked what they saw. They downloaded anime on their own, like, oh, I like this. You know,
Mhm.
they didn't have to like
thing
have
cool.
some people say like, oh, this is a jelly donut. They're like, no, I want an onigiri and I want it now. You know.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Japan cool. I do
Japan
think
cool,
that Japanese food didn't really catch on until maybe very recently as well. Like
Mhm.
really recently, because I believe that sushi was the big one first. But like
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
Yes.
the 2000s, and then fairly recently it was like ramen. But then that also brings me to the misconception that like certain foods, like I mean, most of us here know the boba is from Taiwan. And
Yes.
Yes.
stuff like that gets labeled as Japanese because it's trendy, it's Asian, it's trendy. That it
Ah.
has to be Japanese. It has to be Japanese. Like dim sum, I've had someone ask me if dim sum was Japanese, and I was like,
Someone, no, same. You're not alone on that. Someone was like, "So when are they bringing out the sushi?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, what?"
huh? Huh?
And they were like, "Is that not what this is?" I was like, "No, this is
No.
completely different. You're in a
That's the-
completely
that's the
different.
buffet
You're in a completely
mentality.
different country, babe. Like, I'm sorry."
It's because the buffet has chicken wings, sushi, and like dumplings.
Yo,
basically.
stop.
Yeah, but Chinese buffets are different. It's a different animal altogether.
Yo,
Oh,
Chinese,
good.
but someone needs to do a study on Chinese buffets because I want to know who makes the decisions of like, I'm gonna have full blown like dumplings here and then just a whole freaking tray of
Crab
Jello.
legs
Just the-
over
ju-
here,
oh man,
enchiladas
like-
over here.
you know,
I love that. That whole-
It's like, how do I cater to the most
Oh, it's
people
great.
with the least amount of money?
I love the thing
Yeah.
about the
Yeah.
Jello too, because the Jello is actually the closest they can get to like a traditional Southeast Asian snack. Where I
Yeah.
can't remember the name of it. I'm
Agar?
sure someone does. No, well, yeah, it's made with agar, but it's a peel apart. Like the way that you eat it, you're supposed to peel it
Oh,
apart. It's like they
yeah, I know what you're talking
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were
food.
talking about
Layer
the jelly
cake.
cups that you choke
Yeah.
on.
No,
It's
it's
my
Kui.
jelly cup.
Kiuh,
Just
right?
Yeah.
I
Quick?
love those.
Wait, wait,
Quay?
Kwe?
wait.
Quay.
Kwe.
Okay.
Literally,
I grew up
you-
So many
no,
of
you go ahead.
those.
You go ahead.
The layer cakes are so good, and you're actually supposed to eat them a certain way, like culturally, and you don't think about the little things that you do when it comes to eating certain foods that is like, has to do with the culture. Because the layer cake, you're actually supposed to eat it by peeling off the layers so that you can have a long life, long and happy life.
Oh.
Same thing with slurping noodles. When in every
Mhm.
Asian culture, biting the noodle is considered bad luck because then you're biting into your riches. You're biting into like your life in half.
And for your birthday.
Yep.
These things,
Yeah.
Birthday noodles.
Yep.
Thinking
This
about
is
the
what I'm
noodle.
referring to. I'm putting it in side chat. I don't know if this is what you
Lily.
We all stop talking.
And we all stopped to look.
That's a big link.
It just go search it.
Is that cool though?
Why is the link
I
so
haven't had these
big?
in forever.
I know, it's been so long.
Yeah, Kwe.
I could go buy these right now if the store was open.
Yeah,
Oh my
there's
God!
There's a
Stop
Indonesian-
flexing, Dank.
There's an Indonesian
Crying.
bakery. These are like $3 a piece at the Indonesian bakery. This is
Crying.
Yeah.
Don't be that way.
Oh, I really like the Vietnamese one with the pandan paste in the middle.
Oh, yes.
Ugh.
Pandan is so
Uh,
good.
Don't worry, Sean, I'll
I'm
show you
so
too.
sad. Yum.
Put it on the screen.
Yep, got you. In
Oh,
sec
that was
chat.
so good.
Look at that.
Want.
Behold.
Behold.
Behold. Do you remember?
What's
Do
on that
you
next? Hang on.
remember?
Faster.
Please.
This is the one. And then
This one? How about this one?
that
Well,
one.
how about this
Yeah,
one?
oh, too big. Way too big.
There
Way
This
too
one.
big.
I love you.
That one. Nom nom.
Perfect. Cover the entire
Nom, 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 nom.
screen.
Yes.
Remember from your dreams of childhood these.
So, like, this is the thing, right? Where you peel off layer by layer, or was it something else?
Yeah, they're made layer by layer. I actually watched like a whole video of how they make them. It's a very time-consuming process.
Yeah. So they gotta
Mhm.
steam each layer.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh.
It was so relaxing to watch them.
It is.
I'm like, oh.
But I could never.
No,
No,
you will not
absolutely not.
catch me. You will not catch
I
me
could
making
never.
this. I could miss these for the rest of my life. It's fine. I just won't be making them. I will wait.
I just stare longingly at the screen.
That's what I'm just doing. I'm just drooling at the screen. It's fine.
Actually, I have a question related to this that's not on the list, actually. So, me speaking personally, like, I have a hard time cooking for more than 2 hours at a time because of just my life and obligations and just wanting to do other things. But a
Mhm.
lot of, like, traditional Asian preparations require you to, like, maybe potentially cook all day. Like, put something on a
Yeah.
stove all day or prep all
Mhm.
day.
Yeah.
So speaking as like people in the modern era with obligations and stuff, do you find it difficult to keep up with like very laborious traditional Asian preparations for things, or do you find like that you like doing these things, so to speak?
I think it depends on the dish, to be honest, and or if you have stuff coming up. I feel like especially after the pandemic, a lot of us either A, really enjoyed the solitude, or B, really missed having people around us and doing like gatherings and parties and whatnot. I haven't met really anybody who's in the middle besides like maybe someone who works all the time, but I feel like at least for me who loves to bake, I will like have those little like cravings to just like bake all day, especially if I know I have a day off coming up, so I'll like buy all my supplies and do that. But like on a normal regular basis, like just coming home from work, I just want to throw something real quick on either on the stove or throw it in a microwave or whatever if I can. So if it's something simple, I mean there's even some days where I'll just have like kimchi steamed rice and the the seaweed packets and just eat that.
Yes.
Like, because sometimes it's just enough.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can do.
Or...
Yeah, exactly. Or cracking open like a shin ramyun or something. Like it's fast. It's something easy and I can eat that really quickly. Or again, if there is takeout, it's reheatable, so I could just quickly make it. I think it just really depends on where you're at, and then
So,
I don't
like,
know.
Can I ask, like, for example, would you rather roll lumpia yourself, or would you rather go to the Filipino mart and like buy a frozen bag, for example?
if I could, I would just buy it from a Filipino mart and just do it. At least now. I think in my early 20s, I would absolutely sit there and be like, I'm going to sit here, watch this YouTube tutorial and make it, or
Yes.
ask my grandmother
Yes,
all
I feel this.
step by step. I'm gonna sit here and do this, and she's just gonna tell me how wrong it is, and it's fine. But like now, as a 30 plus, like mid 30s plus person, like it's hard to like motivate myself after a long day of doing everything that I needed to do, or if I'm just constantly running around. So sometimes, yeah, that drive-through just be looking real good, you know? Like,
Felt. Oh, yeah.
yeah, or just again, just making like girl dinner, where it's just something really simple. I can take certain like Asian flavors, throw it into something real fast, and I would be the happiest person in the planet, and it's enough. Where it kind of hits all the spots that I need. But that's me personally. I know some people who are like, I have to cook everything that I make or that I eat. And I'm like, yo, do you? That's great. Good for you, you know?
Of course.
Yeah.
How about the rest of you? Frozen dumplings or make it from scratch?
If I have the
Frozen
time,
dumplings.
definitely make things from scratch.
Oh, yeah.
It's always on time. It depends on time.
I mean, frozen dumplings definitely make your life easier, but I feel like if you could like take a day with, you know, like a couple hours, you can make a bigger batch with the same price that you paid for the bag with
True.
ingredients.
Yes.
Like you can make more and just freeze them yourself. But
Yeah.
like, you know, that takes that like 2-3 hours of time commit.
Mhm.
So
That's
it's
how I
just
feel
more
about
of a-
lumpia.
Yeah.
Where you can like prepare it
Yeah.
ahead of time, freeze
Yeah.
it, and then you can
Oh, yeah.
just cook it for later.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you
but-
can freeze that for a long time.
Yes,
You can make
absolutely.
that
Yes.
work. Yeah.
I certainly do enjoy the long. Find it
Yeah.
like really satisfying at the end and be like, "Fuck yeah, I made that! It tastes amazing."
Yeah.
Facts.
My grandma would be proud, but then she'd probably say there's something wrong with it. But that's okay.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm doing what I can, and she can appreciate that. But it's not quite the same. But that's okay.
That's just love. That's just
Yeah.
love right there.
Yeah.
It's
like,
like, no,
you
let me
know,
cook
okay.
it for you. It's better if I
Every time, let me do it. Jeez.
I feel like this question is different for me as a MILF, as a parent. But it also leans into what you guys were saying, that like we learn a lot of it from our grandparents, from our mothers, and from our grandmothers, and they tell us what's right and what's wrong with the food. And being that person, the engineer of your child's like palate and tastes, like it's a power, but it's also something you want to share, especially if like, you know, yes, I did. I was the person who sat down and made like 300 dumplings at one point because I had a family of like, what, 6 that wanted food, but then like also I really wanted to show my kid this is a part of our culture.
Yeah.
This is something that
Yeah.
I want you to try one day. And then, you know, it actually wasn't really hard. The hardest part about it was actually like not having people eat them all before they all
Yeah.
What you mean? You mean there's no
Yeah.
snack dumplings, Dank? You can't just like nom while you make one, you eat two.
Yeah.
I mean,
I always felt like
yeah,
dumpling day, there's like stuff that's missing, and you're like, wait, there was supposed to be some in this plate. You're like, oh, I don't know what you mean.
That's the fun part.
The entire family wasn't coming up and just grabbing them the second they came out before.
Oh,
Like,
I-
don't finish the dumplings before we finish the lechon.
for real, honestly. Oh my god, you used to drive me crazy. I will also add, I think, especially for me, I'm chronically ill, so it's really hard for me. I can barely cook for longer than an hour before I start getting dizzy spells or my joints start to hurt. And I usually have like a little stool that I have when I'm cooking, and I'll like sit there and do that. But sometimes like the heat, yeah, yo,
It's tough in summer, yeah.
yeah, so like sitting there trying to cook and trying to do something where, especially if I'm craving something specific and I want to make it instead of going out to find it, or I can't find it, that's where it gets really hard. And I love my wife so much, and she does a lot where if I'm like craving fried rice, like she'll make it for me, or something. But like she also knows that I also have the grandma part where I'm like, she's like, what? I'm like, you're not supposed to do that. You gotta change that. And she's like, what do you mean? I love her so much.
Nah, this is why I love stir frying, because it might be like 20-30 minutes of prep, but you're done cooking in like 5 minutes.
Exactly. It's true.
Stir
Here's a
fries.
question. And by the way, chat, you are more than open to ask questions. You may ask them in chat, or you may ask them via Marshmallow. The podcast will be about 2 to 2.5 hours long, so get those questions in. All right, here's my question. Coming to the West, there is a tendency to have a disconnect where our food comes from. Traditional markets are replaced with big box stores and factory farms. Conversely, this can change one's pantry, as things such as organ meats, pickled vegetables, and other traditional preparations are not easily available. How do you feel about rediscovering what others might find bizarre or exotic? So this question is essentially about organ meat, chicken feet,
I was
Pinky
gonna
tofu.
say.
Yeah.
Oh, thinking about the chicken feet.
I still to this date have not tried chicken feet, and my parents eat it all the time.
Apparently, my parents gave it to me when I was younger. I don't remember
Mm.
anything about that. Same thing with bullet. Apparently, I used to eat it a lot as a child, and I don't remember anything about it. And I haven't eaten it as an adult. And for people who don't know what bullet is, you better go look that shit up. I'm not telling you.
I probably still wouldn't as an adult.
Maybe get bonked on Twitch.
Yeah.
So my dad uses to scare my friends. One of my friends scared him right back by popping it straight into his mouth, and he was just like, "What?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Are you okay?"
Yep, my
And I was
grandpa
like, "Yeah, it's
does
fine.
that.
It's fine. It tastes good." And I'm like, even, and I was standing there, jaw dropped.
Mm.
I'm trying to figure out how to answer this question.
That's a tough one.
Oh goodness. If I could start,
Absolutely.
like I said previously, my boss is very cultured, right?
Mm.
So we working in manufacturing, he's traveled the world, and he sits me down. We go to an Asian restaurant, and we're there with another Southeast Asian woman. I believe she's Vietnamese, and her white libertarian boyfriend, and his and my boss's white libertarian / Mexican girlfriend, and we're sitting down. And
Oh.
the waitress comes up, and my boss goes, "Can I have this?" And he points to the menu, and the waitress looks at me, and then looks at him, and then looks at the other Asian woman, and she goes, "Are you sure you want that?"
Yo.
Don't know how to eat that. And he went, "Yes, I know I want that. I've had it before, and I really like it, and I want to share that with my friends." And then she looked at me, and then was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "I've had it before. Yeah, fine, yeah." And it was silkworms. It was silkworm soup,
Oh.
and
Ah.
I see.
it was I had not have, because I told him I don't really remember if I ate it, but if I smell it, I'll remember it. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I had that when I was a kid. I had
What
it
a mood.
before. I don't like the texture." And he was like, "Yeah, go ahead, eat some." And I was like, "Okay, fine." It was good. I really did not like the skin. It's
Yeah.
the skin and no one else wanted to eat it, so it was just me and him, and everyone else was like, "Ew, how could you eat that?" And it was just like, and I was just like, "How could you not want to partake in this culture?" And it's a very cultural deep dish,
Mhm.
It stems from the poverty, not having enough to eat, and plus also the overabundance of silkworms after they started or silk pupa after they started collecting silk for hundreds of years.
Of course.
Waste not, whatnot,
Yeah, I mean, in my parents' country, when you slaughter the chicken, you're gonna eat all the chicken, including its heart and its gizzard and its feet and everything. Here, you go to ShopRite and you buy chicken breast or chicken thighs, and you don't got to deal with the organ meat or the neck or the feet or anything like that.
Giblets.
And giblets, yeah. And over time, that's going to change your diet. That's going to change what you eat. It's going to change what you feed your children. It's going to change what your children eat and what they eat too. So I do find it very interesting because, speaking personally for myself, I had to learn how to eat cartilage, for example. When I eat chicken wings, I had to, as an adult, learn to crunch the cartilage, for example. And like that's something like my mom to this day still crunches down on bones, like no problem.
Mhm.
To get that, like I don't do that yet. But like that's something that comes directly from her childhood, being very poor in the third world, living on a farm, slaughtering their own chickens. And I just think that like being in the West, like, and having this disconnect from our food changes the way you eat and think in your relationship with your food, you know?
Exactly.
And the reason why I asked this question is because I think a lot of people have this sort of aversion to, especially Chinese neighborhoods, but like Asian neighborhoods in general, because what do Asian neighborhoods have? Fish market, you know, the goose is hanging in the window, peking duck in the window. They think it's gross. They think it's nasty. They think it smells bad. You know.
It's okay, more for me.
I'm sorry, Effy. What do you say?
I said it's okay, more for me.
For me, baby. God, I love Peking duck.
Oh, so good. Or like
So
goose.
good.
I guess it's just like a privilege that we have now for living in North America, where we don't have to experience, you know, the butchering of the whole animal and not having to like, oh yeah, we're fucking poor, so we have this one chicken, so we have to like make use of all of it. We have that privilege of, you know, eating the prettier parts of our food, and then it's, I guess a lot of people are just not used to it. I had a classmate. They're also Chinese Canadian, but you know they can't handle tripe or chicken feet or stuff like that. And I'm just like, but you're Chinese. Like how is, like, you know, she just says, you know, my parents never forced me to eat it. I'm like, oh. I'm just sitting there, surprised Pikachu face. Oh, I'm also first generation, but I had to eat all that. That's so interesting. So it just, I just chalk it up to, it depends on what kind of the family is like. How hard they wanted us to assimilate into North American culture.
It's a big difference.
So like they protect you from all the, you know, the weird stuff that they grew up having to deal with.
It's really great that you brought that up, because that's kind of what happened in my household all the time. Was my grandparents wanted us to eat everything. They wanted us to experience everything. She wanted to teach me how things worked, and she wanted me to go to the Philippines and, like, you know, learn how to make a chocolate meat and everything like that, you know. And my mom was very against it. She's like, no, like, you know, I want them to eat other different types of cuisines. I want them to try this and try that. I did try a lot of different foods. I tried, you know, Caribbean food. I tried Italian food. Like, it was just like a bunch of different stuff, Ethiopian food. And that was something that was pretty heavy in our like household, but also like tried to be as Americanized as possible, especially when we went to school. Because I think for like a majority of like my elementary school days, my mom was usually working or going to school. So my grandparents were the ones that were making my lunches and taking me to school and stuff like that. So a lot of the times I would get the, oh, you have a stinky lunch. You know what I mean? And at one point it was starting, you know, as a 6-year-old, it was like, nobody wants to be friends with me because I have like, you know, weird colored meat in my in my stuff, or I have rice, you know, like God forbid that there's rice in my lunch. And then so my mom changed that and was like, no, we're going to eat, you know, completely in her, you know, quote unquote normal food, and just eat very Americanized foods, Lunchables, peanut butter and jellies. I think the only time where I got called like stinky lunch again was like my dad really loved tuna, so he would make like tuna sandwiches and stuff like that. And like that was it. And that kind of like makes my brothers didn't get to experience that because theirs were very, again, Americanized food, and so they didn't even get to enjoy Filipino food until they were much older. And they're now in their mid-20s, and they're missing actual Filipino food now when they didn't even grow up with it, technically, if like you really think about it. So yeah.
Stinky lunch story.
Yeah. It's crazy because like I think I even had that in college at one point, and it was just like typical instant ramen. But it was like, you know, the spicy ones that you get from the Asian market, you know.
It was spicy.
Yeah, and so because it smelled different than your
God
typical
forbid it's
cup of noodles. I know, right? Like, not even really, if you really think about it. I usually added more stuff to it. But even so, just the smell or the color of it, because it was red and not, again, your typical like cup of noodles, like kind of like
Because it was
weird.
angry and not chicken flavored.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so they're like, what is that? Like, I literally had a dorm mate that was like, can you eat that outside? And because I was such a people pleaser, I was like,
What?
okay. And I would take my
Awful.
laptop, go outside in the little like right where the elevator was, there's a bunch of couches that you can just chill at.
Aw.
And I would sit and eat my little little store ramen there all the time. And I regretted that, but I wanted to also fit in at the time. So, and it sucked. But obviously now I'm just like, haha, suck it. I'm gonna eat whatever I want. So
I've definitely had experiences like that where a lot of people that I've like lived with or grew up around were like, we're not gonna eat rice every day like you do. And I'm just
Yep.
like, what's wrong with eating rice every day? Huh?
exactly.
What's wrong with eating rice every day, white bread enjoyer? What's wrong with
Thank you. Thank you.
And they're just all like, oh, well, nothing's wrong with it. I'm just saying. And I'm just like, yeah, what are you saying? What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say by implying that a food that is a staple in my culture is something you don't want to eat all the time? You're not the one eating it. I'm the one eating it. So what is the implication that you're making with me enjoying my food from my culture? So what are you trying to tell me? But also, rice is very like prominent in other cultures in the world, like Hispanic cultures, in Mexican cuisine, in like Italian cuisine, in European cuisine. Like, hey, what are you trying to say about my jasmine white rice? And every time they would be like, oh, well, I'm just saying I don't like it. And I'm just like, oh, I'm just saying I don't like eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches every fucking day, but here we are. It's like, it's a very passionate topic for me when it comes to like, oh, well, I don't like that this thing that you're eating, and it's just like the most mundane thing ever. Like, it's a cup of noodle. Like, man, grow up. Grow up.
I'm eating it, not you.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, little 18-year-old me was like so scared of that, of like, oh, I can't eat like a certain way. But then I realized, like, again, in my big age now, and so much therapy, that it was more along the lines of like my parents were also like ashamed a little bit, in a sense of they're dealing with their own racism growing up and being those kids. They didn't want their kids to go through it either. And so there was a little bit of that in us at one point. But I had to relearn to love my culture's food again. And same thing with my brothers too. We talk about it all the time of how it felt like we were kind of not robbed, but like in a sense, like it was taken from us and we didn't really have a say. And my parents now kind of regret it, but they don't really talk about it like they do. They kind of are just like, oh, you should have. And it's just like, hold on, wait, you're supposed to help with that. And they're like, you guys could have figured it out. You're resourceful. And we're like, okay. So like,
Okay, thanks, but
yeah, but like, yeah, it's fair. I understand where your passion comes from for that, because I'm starting to kind of like get that back, because it was mostly fear and now it's like rage a little bit. But also like love too. Like it's something I'm like, yeah, this should be something I should be proud of and something that I should love. So like when I do go to functions again in a very white town, I'll bring puto and people are like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, it's the most simplest thing. It's literally
really
just a
is.
cake. Like I made one, so like Easter for us, Filipinos will like make different color versions of those like steamed like
Yeah.
rice cakes, and it's just cute. It's so freaking cute. There's nothing wrong with it, but like literally, if I bring it, they're just like, "What the fuck is that? It looks like eggs," and I'm like, "It's
flag
rice."
saucers.
I hate to,
Like,
I hate to tell you what's inside of a bread, baby. I hate to
yeah,
tell
I'm
ya.
like, if you like having your dry ass dinner rolls, I can have these. I like relax.
It looks
Crazy.
like eggs. Yes, there's eggs in bread. Isn't that crazy?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, it was
That's so-
wild. I was like, that's so tame. Like, I could have brought something absolutely horrid in some way, shape, and form, what you would think is horrid, and this was like, it's a tiny little cake that's pink. Just eat it.
Yeah, you eat a cupcake. Cupcakes are pink sometimes. Like, damn.
Yeah, thank you. It was so
It's
frustrating. I
just
was
so
like,
funny
I want to leave.
'cause, like, if you broke down what these foods are into like their ingredients, they'd be just completely like an alien to people. But like the
Exactly.
composed dish is like so unfamiliar that they just don't want to try it, honestly.
Mhm. I mean, just
I
like
don't
you
even
brought
think
up,
Buto was a wild one. I'm like envisioning in my head, and I'm just like,
they just
what
thought it
part
looked
of it
weird because
scared you?
like the ones where you can kind of like make an X in the middle, so then it fluffs up a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit,
yeah.
so it looks a
Cute
little odd.
too.
Yeah,
You
that's
never
why.
had like sourdough bread or something?
That's
Yeah,
what
you vent banana bread.
you.
And
Oh,
Karen, what the hell?
It was driving me crazy that entire party. I was like, I'm going to scream. Like, it's not that, like, nobody wanted to touch it. They thought it was like an alien. They were like poking at it. I was like, bro, it's food. Just eat it.
I'm
Like,
sorry, did you want me to bring a Wonder Bread?
I don't know. No, that's what I'm gonna do next time. Different
box of
colored
Twinkies?
slices. Yeah, no, like full hostess.
Your Wonder Bread.
I thankfully had
Wanda Bretto.
I think we had the opposite happen. So this is a kind of long story, but I gotta keep it as brief as possible. So I made biryani for the first time in college.
Oh, yummy.
And brought it to like a potluck, and everyone ate it.
Mhm.
Because unfortunately, it was an Asian potluck, but no one brought rice. So I was the only one who brought rice. That was biryani. Now, to rewind a little bit. So I'm ethnically Indian, but like my ancestors left India in the 18th century. I'm sorry, they didn't leave. They were taken from India in the 18th century.
There you
by the
go.
British.
There you go.
There you go, yeah.
They ended up in Guyana, which is a country that is half black, half Indian. Very poor. And at that time, they lost a lot of the traditional dishes, lots of the traditional spices. There was one curry powder that they used, and that was it. And so when I went to college, I was cooking for the first time. I wasn't cooking Indian food. Number one, I didn't want to smell like curry. Number two, like I wanted to experiment with other food that I wasn't eating at home. Finally, my senior year, when I had my own like little kitchenette in my apartment, I was like, this was like when YouTube was first like started. I found a YouTube channel called Vareva Chef, I think it was called. Some guy in India, like a hotel chef, and he like broke it out really simply, like how to make these Indian dishes. So I learned. I would go to Wegmans. I'd buy like one spice. So I'd buy like Amchur powder one time, like garam masala another time. Like I'd come back and then like my spaghetti sauce jars, I'd wash them out and put spices in them. I came back from college with like 10 jars of spices, and my mother was like, "What is ordered all these spices?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it. I'm reclaiming our culture."
Oh my god, I love it.
But I learned how to make biryani, brought it to the party, they all ate it, and yeah, to this day I'm still relearning how to make these traditional Indian dishes. Yeah. That's to answer your question right now. No, it's not people are hesitant to eat it, they loved it, actually.
Hey, I love that for you. I think that's great.
Yeah.
That's how it should be.
Something like that happened to me. I think it was just last year, actually. It was fairly recent. Where I was just like, I love all of my lily white friends in Texas. I love all of you. I want to share my delicious food with all of my beautiful Caucasian friends.
Yep.
So I was just like, I'm going to spend all of this time to bring a very easy, I'm sorry, it's not easy. I lied. A very easy to make food, a good comfort food here in where I live. A Cambodian comfort food is just called sach kaan, which is literally meat on a stick, like grilled on a stick, and it's just a beef skewer. Because my friend was like, "Oh, I want to have a birthday party and I want it to be like medieval and D&D themed," and I was like, "You know what's medieval and D&D themed? Meat on a stick."
Meat on a stick. Yeah.
He was like, this could work. And so I slaved and I spent hours making it, right? But here's the kicker. So we had another lily white friend coming from Chicago, and he was like, you don't need to go to the Ranch 99 market to buy these ingredients.
Stop this madness.
All HEB. And I'm like, you're from Chicago. How would you know that HEB, a Texas company, would have all of these traditional Asian things like fucking lemongrass and whatnot? And he was like, "Oh, it'll be fine." I ended up not having all of the ingredients I needed, so I was firing with like half a horse, really. And I was like trying to do all of this with like so little marinade, and he was just hovering over me the whole time, like, why don't you just? But why are you
Oh,
making it this way? Why
God,
are
I
you doing
hate
that?
it.
What?
Why don't you put like vegetables
Huh?
on it? Why don't
Bro,
you do this? Why
stop.
don't you do that? And I was just like, because I'm making a cultural food from my culture, and my friend, bless his soul, comes up. My friend who's having the party comes up and goes, "Hey man, it's their culture. Can you like not do that?" And then our Chicago friend was just like, "But it just doesn't make sense to me. It's so wasteful. It doesn't make sense to me." And then my friend looks at me,
Hello?
and he looks at the bowl and he's just like, "It's not wasteful. It's just meat. It's literally just the meat." So there I was, to the very last second. People were coming into the party, finishing up all the skewers while some of them were going on. And my friend, the Chicago guy, goes, "No one's gonna like it. No one's gonna like it."
Let's stop.
What?
Oh, I would have
Stop
fucking
it.
slapped
If
him.
someone is cooking for you, don't be an asshole.
Yeah, like for real.
Like-
What the fuck?
No one's gonna like it. Next thing you know, every time it gets done, everyone's just taking them. They're trying to take them off the grill before they're finished.
I love it. Hell yeah.
Would be me. Would be me. Guilty as charged.
Yep.
Give it here, put it in my mouth.
Yep.
People are coming up to me like, "Oh my god, you really are just the MILF. I've never had anything so delicious. Like, what is this? I've never had this in my life. It's so good. I want to
Aw.
know, how did you make this?" And I was like, blood, sweat, and tears.
Yo, for real. Actually.
And
And
the
they were
most
like, "Yeah, we
basic of
saw
food,
you."
fire and meat, honestly.
Yeah.
Fire and meat. And,
Yeah.
you know, some charcoal. And everyone was like, "Please, I need more of this. Is there more?" And I was like, "Actually, no." And people were like outright crying, just sitting there crying.
Oh.
So, you know,
What do you
sharing
mean there's
food
no
is
more?
so much.
I've
I
been,
feel like sharing
been-
culture is so much, you know?
Yeah. I've been to so many parties like that where we have like had to do a supermarket run in the middle of the party because
Yo.
exactly the situation.
Yeah. I
We
hate
had
that.
other meats, like we had other food there. We had like chicken legs and like hot dogs and stuff. And
Mm.
we also had pizza, but nobody wanted those things because
Pizza
Yeah,
any day of the
I
week. Yeah.
Yeah, like what?
I feel like a
Okay.
little like culture goes a long way. Like just a little friendship here and there.
Absolutely.
Okay, but Dank, are you still friends with this guy?
Sadly.
Oh.
Bless your heart.
Everyone can grow, and that's the point of breaking bread, so to speak.
Did he
did
like the
apologize to
food?
me after eating it.
Oh, okay. All right.
He apologized to me after eating it. He was like, "You know, I should have trusted you. I've never. It is true. It's actually very delicious. I've never had something like this before. And next time when you make it, I will just completely stay out of your way." And I was like, "You're damn right." Damn
Yeah,
right, white
good.
lady."
Damn.
Okay, at least he redeemed himself.
Yeah.
I have got another question here. So this is a question about like racism.
Mhm.
A fun one, I guess.
Mhm.
From rumors of Chinese people eating cats to depictions of Indians eating monkey brains in Indiana Jones, to comedians such as Uncle Roger making bat eating jokes, Asians are
Right.
typically depicted as having depraved or subhuman appetites. Where do you think this bias comes from?
Ooh, Sung Woo Cho, Sung Woo Cho, when I get you. Uncle
And
Roger, when I.
or- I suppose as a sort of add-on to the question, how do you feel about like Asian Americans continuing to make these jokes?
I know.
Kick your fucking ass, bitch.
Yeah, for real.
Go home and tell your mom that and see what she says.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah,
Yes,
because
go-
it comes from fucking. We didn't have anything, so we eat what we can.
Exactly.
Not gonna
I'm not-
fault our ancestors.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. I'm not gonna lie. I do have like a lot of my Asian friends in Texas who will DM me every now and again and be like, "Here's a picture of my cat in a pot," and all of us are like, "Ah," and all of us like, "Oh no, he sacrificed
Oh.
himself."
Yep. Oh my god. Like I
It's
feel
funny
like
when
there's a line, right? Like,
Mhm.
you know.
Well, it's
It's
like
like
an
we
in-group
can
versus
say it.
out-group thing, right? Like you're DMing your Asian
Mhm.
friends, like, haha, look at my cat in the pot. Sure. If you're like telling a group of white people, like, haha, look at my cat in the pot, isn't that funny? I'm Asian. That's kind of a different joke, isn't it?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
I hate
Yeah,
it.
that's where I'm just all like, I'm gonna go tell your mom.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want the Asian mom to get mad. The Asian mom will give you hell. You will like lose funding.
It just kind of like, I don't know, like, where's your pride, I guess, like, when you like do that. Like, I get wanting to connect. Go ahead.
No. Please finish. I'll
Like,
jump in after.
Yeah, sure. I get wanting to like connect with people and like use humor as an icebreaker, but like you're appealing to people's like most base like assumptions about you. You're trying to say like, oh, I'm one of the good ones by doing that, and it doesn't really put you in a good light.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, is that you're just trying to fit in, and you wanna. It's kind of again in that same vein where like you're just trying to seem more like American or whatever as much as you can, and you're like, let me just make fun of my culture and my ancestors so that they know that I'm just one of the good ones. I'm not one of the weird ones that you guys don't like secretly or talk shit about. Like I'm with you, and you're just like, yikes bikes, like no.
Yeah, don't be a pick me.
That's
Don't be a pick me.
That's the word.
It's true. It's very pick-me behavior.
I mean, sure, if you want a white libertarian, go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't know. They try to look cool, but in reality, it's just belittling. There's nothing more to it.
Yeah, I
feel like
totally
there's-
agree with that, Zandra. And I mean, like, it just is frustrating to watch people like it's one thing to like see like middle-aged like comedians like make the same jokes over and over and over and whatever, like they're gonna be dead anyway. It's another thing to see like modern influencers still do these jokes to this day and still like rise through the ranks. Like how many like gigs does Uncle Roger book these days, like doing the same act over and over and over?
Yeah, I remember watching his videos in the beginning and being like, okay, I see the appeal. And then, like, as it continued, I was like, oh, this just does not change. Okay, this is getting worse. Okay, yeah, I can't watch you anymore. Or, like, even, like, try to see, like, where you're at.
I forgot he existed.
I mean, that's fair. Good for you. I'm happy for you, to be
I'm
honest.
in the group of like never liked Uncle Roger. Never.
Yeah. I think it was more along the lines of just watching him review other like white cooks trying to do Asian food, and that was where I was like, okay, I can see it. I can see this. And then
I think it devolved, didn't it? Right?
It did. It really did. It really did. And the fact that he has like tours, and I think he's met Gordon Ramsay at this point, and like doing all this kind of stuff, I'm like, I hate this.
I think that like from a guy who has no expertise in the kitchen ultimately.
Right.
Who doesn't,
That's my thing.
Yeah, he has no expertise in the kitchen. He's never like went to school to like for culinary anything, and his whole thing is like, oh, emotional damage. I'm pretend to be Asian, come from Asia. Like, shut the hell up, man. Like, you're so disparaging for other Asian people
Because he
you're
doesn't
just
talk
playing
like
the
that.
caricature.
He's got a British
Yeah.
accent.
Yeah, you're just putting on like the FOB accent and being like very in itself xenophobic and disparaging to other Asian people and going, I'm making a mockery of Asian people for myself so that people would laugh at me and think I'm cool. And it's like, you know, people would think you're cool if you weren't a dickhead. And if you also didn't have really weird racist views of like Southeast Asian food or like certain Asian foods. Sure, yeah, you know, this one guy washed rice with a colander, that was weird. But like also you didn't have to like just kind of, oh, I'm like the pinnacle of like Asian food, I know everything about Asian food, when you're gonna sit there and say frying an egg and putting it on rice is a white people thing. It is not.
Fried egg on rice is the best thing.
I'm gonna do it again. Watch me do it again.
Like it's at the end of the day, what purpose does this serve you other than to appeal to the white libertarian? What purpose is this serving? Like who who are you pleasing? Are you pleasing your Asian community? Are you pleasing a wider, grander community? Are people laughing with you? Are they laughing at you? What do you
Yep.
prefer? And I think they're laughing at you, not laughing with you. Because at the end of the day, they're going to call you a slur either way.
Yep.
Well said.
Yes, and
That's
he's
great.
Malaysian. Oh my god, that's a good thing someone pointed out, is that he's Malaysian, but at the end of the day, he's more racist to like Cambodian people and like Vietnamese people.
Yeah.
I will eat my egg and rice on your grave.
It's really entertaining because he also has a restaurant now, apparently. So
I'm
What?
sorry, what? I didn't
Yeah,
know
he
that.
opened a
this is
restaurant.
the bullshit. Like,
he
What
opened
the
a
hell?
restaurant.
just
I'm gonna walk in that restaurant and order egg on rice in front of his face.
imagine all these opportunities for this one gimmick that you basically get for just doing the same stupid thing over and over and over, basically.
Oh my god.
He got him views.
Yes,
The
I'm a
recipe
Malaysian
reviews were
man.
good at one point.
hmm
Anything else?
Yeah, it was just weird.
Yeah, I'm
I like how
a
the-
Malaysian man putting on a Cantonese accent.
If it gives you guys any consolation, I did look it up, and the first thing that popped up was a Reddit thread saying Uncle Roger restaurant receiving so many negative comments. Deserved!
Which is sad because it's really hard to fuck up Asian food. I feel like,
For real.
like from an
actually.
Asian person,
Yeah.
most of
from-
us have
We've
some
already
kind of taste.
established she has no background in any fucking culinary whatever, so.
Yeah, but you know how to eat.
And that comes back to respect. It comes back to having respect for the culture and the food and
Mhm.
learning those things about the things that you're eating. And the fact that he doesn't even think that eating egg on rice is just an Asian thing in general. So how am I going to expect him to understand how to cook rice much
True.
what just because he like
True.
said, "Oh, you can't wash it with a colander?" Do you know how long you're supposed to cook it for? Like wow. Have you ever cooked it on a stovetop, Uncle Roger? If you're even an uncle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Scandal of the century.
It's true.
I have told people infamously, yeah, I'd rather watch Joshua Weissman. I'd rather watch Joshua Weissman
Oh.
make a ton of food instead
Mhm.
because I know that he has a background of actually going out to other countries to learn. He went to learn how to cook formally in France. And it's because he wanted to be a pastry chef, but then he just fell in love with food. And that makes sense to me. Yeah, you know, who's gonna have duck fat just laying around to make fried rice? Sure, right? But at least he went out of his way to go, this is what I think goes good in fried rice.
This is
Yeah.
actually a great point that Dank is making. Like Joshua Weissman, Anthony Bourdain was mentioned earlier in chat as well. They are great ambassadors for Asian food who are themselves not Asian. Like
Yep.
you do not have to be Asian to like bring illumination onto Asian food. And
You
just because you are Asian doesn't mean you make good content about Asian food.
Yep. Yeah, it's again just like what Dank said, it's about respect. And if again it's cultural appreciation. If you appreciate the culture, your food will obviously show that and everything about your content too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's funny? Have you guys heard the movie Hunger? It's a Thai movie.
Yes,
No, I
yes,
have not.
So
I don't think I have.
there's a famous scene in the movie. It's like if you guys have seen The Bear, right? It's a very like intense fine dining movie, right? Like high pressure, high stakes restaurant. And the way the chef like vets the new chefs is like he gives them rice and 2 eggs. He's like, make me egg fried rice right now, right? And like they have to make, and like, you know, the chefs, they're like arrogant, like, oh, I could do this. This is nothing. This is what guys in the street
no.
make, whatever it is. And they fuck it up, and he kicks them out. And then the lady comes in. She's like a street vendor herself, and she makes it perfectly and impresses him, and whatever it is, and he goes in from there. Did you know I googled the movie just now just to confirm that, and the first result that pops up is Uncle Roger loved epic fried rice movie.
Oh no.
I'm gonna fucking throw my shoe.
Uncle Roger should learn how to make like rice and then come back and talk shit.
That's insane.
I don't think Uncle Roger knows how to make fried rice like that. I'm gonna
No.
be dead ass.
No, I don't think so.
I wish
Well,
I was
what are
shitting
my
you.
credentials? I'm a mom. I have a food science degree. I'm a mom. That's how I know. I took one lick at Uncle Roger's food and I went, this rice looked dry.
How did this guy become like the authority on like Asian food? I just don't understand.
He put on the
Racism.
uncle voice and make
Yep.
everyone think he know what he's doing.
You know who did that was cooler and more respectful than that? Uncle Chin and Uncle Sam. I don't know how old the rest of you are, but Uncle Chin and Uncle Sam taught me about how to find good crawfish as a kid.
Aw.
How to make a grilled cheese. And
Oh,
no
I forgot to include this actually. Who are your like your culinary icons that you like love watching and like sort of learning from? Mine are like Mangchi. I really love watching Mangchi.
Mangchi, yeah.
Mm.
And I had one of my first cookbooks I had was the show's called Ming Can Cook. I forgot what his name was. By Ming Sai.
Mm.
Yeah, but it was like I learned a lot of like Chinese cooking from like that book actually. Also cooking with dog.
Oh my god.
I learned all of my Japanese cooking from
Yes.
cooking with dog.
Rest in peace, Sebastian, little doggy.
Yeah,
Francis.
Rest in peace, Francis.
Francis.
Oh,
Love you, Francis.
it's okay. Chef's still around.
Chef's still around.
Yes, she does have a good recipe on jajangmyeon. You're right, Caustic.
Yeah.
Ooh, the jjajangmyeon's so good.
But yeah.
I watched Martin Yang growing up personally.
Yes, Martin Yan's China. That's another good one. Yes.
Yeah, it's great. And, you know, all of my TVB shows.
What about everyone else?
Um,
Man, I
Yes,
wish I
cooking with
had, like,
Lao.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
also
cooking
good.
with
Yes,
I watch it-
Caustic, amazing.
I watch it with
Cooking
chat
with love.
sometimes, actually.
Yeah. Uncle
Uh,
Lao is precious.
I was gonna say cooking with Lao is definitely one that's up there. I would say that a lot of the stuff when I was growing up, it was mostly just family members that I
That's what
looked
I
up
was about
to.
to say. Yeah.
I think it was a little harder for me to watch like certain chefs, I guess. Unless it was just like normal Food Network stuff. But most of the time I was kind of like, I don't know what the like, what am I looking at?
That's so fair. That's fair.
Yeah. But there's a YouTuber that I've been watching for a long time, but this one's very specific. They're called Chocolate Cacao.
Oh my
They do
God,
like
yes.
chocolate ASMR videos, kind of, where they
Yes.
I
do
might
baked
know who you're
goods.
talking about.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
they're
Chocolate
Korean.
Cacao
Japanese.
Japanese. Okay, I was right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I usually watch a lot of their channel a lot of the time, and there have been times where I've wanted to like cook like or bake a lot of the stuff that they make. But I also love how it's very simple. Puts all the ingredients up there. Everything's really, and it's not like overstimulating either, where it's not like a bunch of like elevator music plus like fast cuts and like things, but like it's just very like, this is what I'm doing. And he even takes like little times to do like cute stuff and then like come back to the recipe. And it's just, I don't know. He's always been someone that I absolutely love to go back to and watch all of his bakes, even though there might be stuff where I'm like, I can't bake this because I don't have these ingredients here. But yeah. There's another person, but I'll let somebody else go while I look them up because I can't remember their name.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't have anyone specific, so right now I'm taking hella notes.
Yeah.
Oh, if I could be really honest, my grandmas,
Mm.
all of my grandmas.
Yeah.
See, that's where I'm like lying, right? Where it's just like family, my grandparents, my aunties, like.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I don't got YouTube channels, so.
Hey, look, you know, it just be like that.
They can always
But,
start
yeah.
one.
Sure.
It is true.
Influencer-wise, definitely cooking with Lao. I do enjoy cooking with Lao. There's
Cooking with us, great.
Cambodian cooking channel like Mama Yan or something.
Ooh.
Mama Heng, yes. Cooking with Mama Heng or Grandma Heng, and this is controversial. Alton Brown.
I love all
Very-
that.
I love
Alton
Alton.
Brown, so
I love Alton.
I'm with you on that.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
he's
learned so
very...
many basics from Alton Brown.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes, he also is a food scientist. He's very smart, and like a lot of what he does is like he fully explains why. the how and the why, and he's also a good ambassador for Asian food. And I do think learning from actual chefs makes sense, but home cooks as well. I do watch a lot of like Epicurious. It is a
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
and they do go out of their way to source like, oh yeah, here's a Japanese chef who makes like ramen to teach you how to make ramen and stuff. I know, controversial opinion. I don't like binging with Babish. I think that he is sweet. I think he's funny and he's nice. But I do think that when it comes to Asian food, he falls flat very much.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
every
Oh, yeah.
time. Yeah.
So glad Alvin is there. I'm so glad he
Yeah.
brought in
Alvin's
Alvin.
amazing.
Yeah.
I love Alvin.
Alvin, it
Love
was a
Alvin.
great addition. Yeah.
Alvin also doesn't have a background in cooking because neither of them do, right? Neither of them have like a background in being a chef. But I do believe Alvin is going to culinary school now, I think.
Alvin also has the good sense to like source his stuff from Asian markets, like Asian like enterprises within the city. Like he tries to make Chinese sausage, for example, fails at it, and just goes and gets Chinese sausage himself. And like
It's
that's
very
the sign of like
easy. Mm-hmm.
not having
The
the
Chinese
hubris anymore.
Well,
I can't
granted,
make it
lapchung
better.
is very hard to make.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love yeah.
Very
Lapchung
hard.
is hard to make, but it's really good, and it's really nice that he tried to make it as well.
Yeah.
I do believe that
Exactly.
Alvin has said multiple times he thinks of his mother, and that comes all the way back to like the culture, the food culture, and how topic that we've talked about the whole time, and that no one has actually realized it is that it all comes back to sharing food with your family, and just how deeply ingrained in Asian culture it is sharing food together. And like the one thing that will show you that someone loves you, if like an Asian person loves you, is if they want to share food with you.
Absolutely.
In the best way they ask, did you eat yet?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Ugh, my heart.
Chat,
Funniest thing
we are
I-
coming. Sorry, give me 1 second.
No, it's fine.
Chat, we're coming close to the end of the podcast, so please get those questions in for our panel. Go ahead, Effie.
Oh, I was just gonna say, going back to the "did you eat yet" thing. As a kid, I never understood that. Right? Like, you'll answer the phone, and your grandma's like, "Oh, did you eat yet?" It's like, "Grandma, it's 7 o'clock. Of course I ate. What do you mean? Did you eat yet?" And it's like, "Oh shit! They're asking. They're making sure that we're fed and that we're warm and we're taken
Yep.
care of." God, why don't we know how to say "I love you"? But here, have some fruit.
we all know that we like that's just generational trauma / like just not being able to communicate and being able to express emotions. Like,
But it's like seeing it, like how hard they express their love that way.
yeah. I think
Well,
it's just
mine-
hard because it comes across as like them getting on you, which is like something
True.
that we all kind of have to deal with all the time with everything. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Mine just asked me what I cooked today because they're so proud whenever I tell them what I made.
Aw.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
I will ask, since we're circling around, kind of talking about like different content creators or chefs or people that we're like that we looked up to. How do we feel about like content creation in the sense of like mukbangs being like popularized now, in the sense of like it being popular here in like Northern America, but also now that like it's kind of also being reversed, where like Asia will do like come to the States or do something and do like large amounts of foods and do that for content and everything.
Oh, the brain worm, the brain. I want other people to talk about this before I talk about it.
Oh no.
Brain worm. I need someone else to say something first.
Oh my
I'm
god.
like biting my tongue on this too, so it's like, I only like it if they raise the food to the camera so I can take a bite too.
Yeah, that's
Honestly,
fair.
that's so valid.
That's fair. That's so fair.
I don't know. I feel like you guys have something to say, so you might as well tell us.
Yeah, spit it out, so to speak.
So I'm not a fan of mukbangs because a lot of people have not ever looked into it so deeply. But I remember when it was coming up and there was a form, or it was a former video, one of the two, and they were just like, hey guys, the reason why mukbangs exist is because, and the reason why they're so popular is because of how restricted. Cat, stop it! How
Pay the cat tax.
Yeah, cat wants to snuggle. How restrictive the gender norms, dieting, and beauty standards are in Korea.
Oh.
It comes
Ooh.
back to how, like, in Korea, specifically, people, men and women, feel like they have to fit an extremely simple, like, extremely small niche. So they all have to, like, a lot of people in Korea were, like, very heavily dieting at the time, or, like, just not eating. There were people just not eating. So then there were a bunch of
Ugh.
people in Korea who came up with this idea to, like, oh, I'm gonna just stream myself eating a lot of food, because these were all fitness people and people who had to, like, consume a ton of calories to keep that figure anyway. So it is a feeding fetish. It is a feeding fetish, because people who watch mukbangs were people who were just like, God, I wish I could eat so much. Oh, I wish I could eat like that. Oh, wow. Like, oh, the way that they're eating that food does something for me. And that was, like, a lot of what early mukbang was a feeding fetish. It was meant to cater specifically to people who either A, felt very envious they couldn't eat a lot, or B, people who liked to watch people eat in a sexual way. So when it became a big thing in the US, I was like, this is kind of gross that we're all participating in a closeted fetish. And everyone's like, oh, I'm so obsessed with it.
I didn't even know.
Yeah, I
I think
didn't
so
even
in my
think about
soul
that.
I knew that, but I just blocked it out.
Yeah, same. I think it was just like, oh, this is kind of nice. Like,
I always
And
just
I-
saw it as like eating a meal with somebody, you know, just like sitting.
yeah.
It's like, oh,
I
I'm
think
lonely.
some
Let's just
channels
eat
do that,
together.
but then like the really popular ones are exactly what they said, where it is kind of like this hidden in plain sight fetish,
yeah.
and then I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
help but feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's like a lot, it makes me uncomfortable.
Always a lot too, and that's because originally mukbangs were just like exorbitant amounts of food. It was
Mhm.
like,
Hmm.
I'm gonna eat an entire king crab in one sitting kind of thing. And
Yeah.
the people who did it, they would be dieting for like weeks, you know, and then that would be their giant meal they have because they're fasting, and then they would go back to it, and that was just, you know, how it was. So then, like I said, when it became really popular in the US, and people would be like, let's watch this mukbang together. I was like, I will not partake in your fetish. Just please leave me alone.
I did not
Video
consent.
creators barely disguised fetish.
Really disguised.
Mossy says it's the same way some TikTok food creators are for hand fetishes mainly. See,
Oh yeah,
No.
yeah,
I did see
yeah,
that actually.
yeah. Yeah. that makes
Guilty.
sense.
What do you mean guilty?
If you see someone with nice hands doing stuff,
You're just
are
like,
you
oh,
not
wait,
guilty
wait.
of watching it? Be like, hello.
I'm like,
Oh,
wait,
the
what's
guy
happening
making
here?
making the bread, right? Where he just like puts his
Yep.
finger in the
Oh,
dough.
I don't like those.
Oh no,
I like the
really sexual. No, no,
yeah,
no,
like
no,
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 I
no,
hate
no
those
bread
ones.
slappy for me. No,
Yeah,
just
oh,
like
God.
good knife
Don't
work
think
or
about
like
it, no.
you know.
You don't like
Yeah.
the guy slapping the dough?
No, as a
No.
bread maker, no. Don't do that to my baby.
Nothing.
Leave my baby alone.
It does not make gluten like people say it does. It doesn't.
It really doesn't.
No.
What if your gluten's been naughty?
Then you leave it alone so it can relax.
Well, unfortunately, Chad, I'm gluten intolerant, so I gotta spank my dough.
No.
Oh my God.
I don't care if the gluten.
Turn
is
tits
free.
back on so I'm gonna throw shit at you.
To be like completely non-say so for a second, someone used to pay me money to give them pictures of me doing a thumbs up because it was a fetish.
Huh?
That is so
Oh.
interesting.
Damn.
That is so interesting.
That's very specific.
It was so specific.
It's just like a subgenre of a subgenre of a subgenre.
Damn.
You're like, how did we get here?
What did I
You
do?
just
to
know that
deserve-
guy has a freezer full of thumbs. No offense. If you
Oh my god!
What did I do?
Oh yes, and this is how Squee gets nightmares. Thank you.
Which
Thank you,
that
Atra.
brings us
I love being
perfectly
here.
into this next question from Reina. What is one dish from your culture you either have a hard time eating or don't like, but others love it?
Oh,
Mm.
you know, I'm gonna get hated for this. I don't like tilapia because I know that they're bottom feeders, and that kind of gives me the ick. I don't know why.
Fair.
Then you must
Actually
not
fair.
like crab
yes.
either.
I can't do it. My grandparents, all my aunties and uncles, they frickin' love tilapia. I can't do it. I cannot.
We have a similar fish, and I can't eat it. They're just little gross little things. We call them hasa. I don't know what the English word for it is, but they're little bottom feeders.
Yeah.
I could be a little gross thing too if I felt like it. For me, boiled intestines.
That is fair.
Yeah,
Mm,
no, I've had those.
They don't
They're
want
good.
I'm with you on that one.
Traditionally, they just don't wash them, and
Ah.
it smells gross.
Ah.
And, like,
Yeah, they
Yeah.
taste
Oh.
unwashed to me.
Oh.
They taste like chicken shit. I'm not gonna lie.
Straight up, just straight up.
maybe like pig intestines. I guess
I can
this
do
is
the
why
I
I'm
can
a-
do the grilled ones.
I had the opportunity to try them, but I chickened out.
I couldn't do
That's
liver.
okay.
It was the texture for me.
That's fair.
Also, I guess like an unpopular opinion is that like I don't have adobo anywhere ranked up on my favorite Filipino
I'm with
food
you on
list.
that. I'm with you on that.
I'm
That's
kind
fair.
of just like meh.
It's alright.
I don't know
If it's there, I'll
It's
eat
alright.
it. You know,
yeah,
like
yeah, I'll eat it, but like
yeah. But it's not a go-to, bro. Like it's
right,
alright. I can find other things.
right.
Don't know if I could say this as a not Filipino person, but I do think adobo is just overrated.
I also do think that.
I'm
yeah.
with you on that. Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think pet soup
Especially
is
chicken adobo too. Like
Mhm.
that.
Oh, yes.
When people are like, "That's the best," I'm like, "Stop." Please
It's
stop.
Better ways to make
dry.
chicken. There are better ways to make
It's
chicken.
dry.
Put it on a stick.
Mhm. Yeah.
Satay.
Meat on stick. Meat on stick.
Meat on a stick.
Make it on a stick. Put it on a grill. Put it on a stick. Deep fry
Mhm.
it. Those are all better ways to make chicken.
Thank you.
I believe there was a question. I want Effy to answer first, but there was another question. I'm gonna look for it in the chat because
Sure,
I
go for
did
it.
see it fly by a second ago.
Which one? The one that Reina asked about the recommended recipe, or
Yes, that one.
yeah. For me, as a Chinese person, I love fried sticky rice. I don't know if you guys have had it. It's sticky rice. It's like brown. It's got Chinese sausage, egg shreds, Chinese ham. It's usually served in dim sum, and it's actually a lot easier to make than you would expect. There's this recipe that I found. You make it in a rice cooker, and you fry up the vegetables, and you throw it in, and you mix it. And it's just so good, so good. Everyone should learn how to make fried sticky rice.
Now I want sticky rice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or mango
I've-
sticky
I've
rice,
seen it
both
before.
good.
Just haven't had it before, actually.
What do you like?
It's
Sticky
good.
rice? Well, if you like ham, and you like perfect combination. I will find the recipe and share.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Next.
Recipe you guys recommend of your fellow panelists to try to make.
I think I'm in summer mode, so the first thing that popped into my head was halo halo, which
That was
you know,
literally what I was
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
suggest. I was
Yeah.
like,
It's
I
It's,
think I might have
it's a
to.
really nice way to cool down. It's basically just shaved ice with many different layers of yummy things, and you can mix and match too. That the fun part is you get to choose what you want on it. So it's sweet beans, fruits. You can drizzle it with like condensed milk. You can put leche flan on top of it, ube
Mhm.
ice cream. Like oh,
Mhm.
there's so many things you could do with it.
Yeah, it's called
I
mix
would
mix
just-
for a reason, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the little beans.
They're actually really
red
good.
beans?
So my friends are just kind of
Yeah.
like, "Oh, what's that?" Like this. I'm just like, just take a spoonful into your mouth.
But I feel like sweet beans are definitely.
Yeah, red bean. Give me that red bean.
red bean is so good.
I don't like red bean.
That's fair.
More
Is it a
for me.
texture thing or a taste thing?
Taste thing.
Or
It's
both.
too earthy.
More for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, well, just more for us on the couch over here.
yeah.
Go enjoy your Wonder Bread.
For me, I think I'm also gonna go in a sweet treat as well. I love toron. I love fried banana anything. Like
Jackfruit.
there's something, yeah, with jackfruit, without jackfruit, like both
Mhm.
is great. Both are great. Like to me, it's not that hard to make in the sense of like you just putting it together. It's the frying part. If you're not good at deep frying things, you might have a hard time. But other than that, it's delicious. It's literally, again, some sort of sweet banana. You can even put plantain if you really want to get crazy with it, and piece of jackfruit if you want, and then you wrap it in egg roll wrapping, and you deep fry that. And usually some people will cover it with sugar. I've seen it where it's also cinnamon and sugar, which was wild to me. So like it's just another sweet treat that I absolutely love and I crave from time to time. One thing for me personally that I make is if you take pandesal, open it up and put some ice cream in there. That's the best. It's the best.
Ice
Make sure
cream
it's nice and warm.
sandwich.
Make sure it's nice and warm. If you can toast it first, that's great. Or if you get it straight from the bakery, that's probably the best time to do it. That was my introduction to an ice cream sandwich. I didn't know what a normal ice cream sandwich looked like. So when someone at school was like, yeah, we're getting ice cream sandwiches, I was expecting that. And so when they gave me this random chocolate eraser of a thing, I was like, what the fuck is this? So I was very confused. But I will make that from time to time. It's something that my grandpa and I used to do because he wasn't technically supposed to be eating sugary things, and neither was I. So there'd be times where he's like, we're gonna go for a walk, and he would stop at a local bakery, grab pandesal, go to a 7-Eleven, grab a little thing of ice cream, and we would sit on the curb and eat that until we got to walk home. And it was great. I don't know if you're sensing a theme. Grandpa used to always give me the sugar. Yeah.
It's so clear to see your grandfather loved you.
Yeah, I was definitely his kid for sure. Until the very end, you know, like he was just always trying to spoil me in some way, and my mom was like, "You need to stop it." I was like, "But what do you mean?" It's true, literally everything. Like, you're not allowed to have McDonald's after school. Guess who got McDonald's after school? Don't tell mom. You know, like it was great.
I'm an overachiever for sure. So I know it's probably not going to be something everyone can do. It probably is very hard. You guys should try making angel wings. So basically imagine an egg roll, a chicken egg roll, but wrapped entirely inside of a chicken wing.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What?
I've seen this.
Oh yeah, no, I've
Like
definitely.
stuffed
I'm looking
wings?
this up. I'm looking this up.
Oh yeah, stuffed wings.
Yeah, I've definitely shown you like just a Cambodian or Thai angel wings. It's just like egg roll filling.
Oh, yes,
inside of
I've
a
seen
chicken wing.
these.
And
They're really
Ooh.
big.
They are really big.
too.
my uncle used to make them all the time because you know, Cambodian New Year's, every Cambodian New Year's, our family would have like katio.
They look so good.
And
Those
my
look
uncle
so
would
tasty.
fry these. He would grill these next to the meat on a stick. He would grill them, and they were huge, and they were so good. And they're not hard to make, surprisingly, but they seem hard to make because you're also keeping the bones intact.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then there's meat on a stick. I'll probably post the rest.
Meat on a stick.
Meat stick.
Meat on a stick.
Meat stick.
Meat on a stick.
And oh my god, the hard one, but it's like absolutely to die for, duck curry.
You took my
This is just the two words. Just the two words together.
Oh yeah, it's made with like coconut milk, and it's sweet and creamy and savory, and the duck parts are obviously the best. And I like it spicy, but I also like it with sticky rice instead of regular rice.
No, that's
You
fair.
put the sticky rice into it like a chicken nugget. So it's very good. And usually when people make it, they save all the skin from the duck, and like they, you know, ideally using like cooking the Peking duck, preparing the duck like how you would Peking duck, taking off all the skin and then frying it separately to use it as crackle on top.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
By the way, everyone, I'm single and not married.
Get on
That's
it.
right.
Yo, we are
Get
launching
on
an
it.
Asian dating
Yo.
game at the end of this month. The API dating game show.
Yo.
We're getting married all y'all off.
Somebody's mom will be happy.
Exactly.
My dad would be very angry. My father would be very angry.
And yeah, I'm gonna say duck curry too, but West Indian style duck curry, heavy on the spices, dry fried, and spicy with a really dark gravy. Good stuff. And you serve it with some roti.
Hell yeah.
You have that with some rum, and that's your Sunday.
Oh, that sounds great. Yeah.
Oh goodness! Before we close this out, I want to talk about this one thing. Speaking
Sure.
about alcohol and rum, have you guys noticed how much soju has like got a chokehold on the white libertarians?
Well, it's like I said in the group chat. It's cheap, it's strong, and it's fruity. And as long as
Yeah,
it's
I'm
those
not
three
gonna-
things, it's always gonna win out.
I'm not
It's
gonna
me for
lie.
real.
I literally like anytime I get a chance to show people what soju is, that's like the first thing. I'm like, yo, have you tried this? And they're just like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, here, just try it.
Mother can
Hey!
no. Three
It's
things for
actually
me.
almost- It will not make you shit your pants.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's true.
I will say this too. You know how like alcohol changes when you apply water or ice to it?
Mm.
Yeah,
Soju's delicious with ice.
it
It
is.
That's just a fact,
mhm.
honestly.
Yeah.
Yes, I love my soju cold. It
Yeah,
tastes
it's so good. Yeah, I cannot have it room temperature. I'm not at that level. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
can't.
No, me neither. No, you.
You're not the Ajashi level yet.
No, like not at all. Like
All right, but
Like,
have you
at
had
least put that
soju
thing in
and
the
beer
fridge.
though together? Like, have you been to
I
one of those
have.
places?
yeah,
Soju
I
bomb?
have. Yeah.
Soju and
I don't
Yakult
like
for
those.
me.
Yeah, I don't
So
like
the Solmec, yeah, that's or not Solmec. No, is that correct? No, I said that right. Yeah, it's alright. It doesn't really bother me that much. It's not something I would go for.
that feels like
but-
a hat on a hat situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, Mossy's got it right. Frozen juice with soju. Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
actually, it's genius.
We used to do God, what is that? It's not Milkus. It's the Japanese version of Milkus. What am I? Yeah, taking
Calpis.
Calpico. Yeah, taking Calpico
Calpico!
and soju together
You
is
know, you
fantastic.
changed the name to Calpico for
It's actually Calpis, guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad. Sorry.
because
actually-
the Japanese name Calpis sounds like cowpiss in English, so they changed the name to
Don't
Calpico.
disrespect my
Yeah, that's fair.
Japanese, my glorious Nippon, my Japanese milk. It's not even milk. It's not even milk.
Listen, that was my moment. I actually speak Japanese. I'm one of those weebs. Listen, if you're a brown weeb watching this, I got you.
But I think ultimately the reason that soju got such a chokehold on like North America, it's cheap and it's good because you can't get good cheap sake. It just doesn't exist. It tastes like ass.
It gives you a shitty
It's
hangover
not
too.
cheap.
Yeah,
It's like $6 a bottle. That's not
I know. I mean, okay, but it's just it's cheaper than most things, and it guarantees it's good.
Mhm.
Like you can't just get shitty sake. As
I would say
Ugh.
also K-pop and Korea,
Oh,
like the
yeah.
Korean wave, also helped with that as
Korean
well.
wave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you.
Yep.
I don't.
I
Disagree.
definitely. Yeah, I don't think it did like a huge part of it, but it definitely contributed for sure.
Yeah.
Everyone else can have soju. I'll just sit with my big bottle of Hennessy in the corner.
I was just about to say Hennessy.
Memories. Oh my god.
Anything is possible.
In
Alright,
Canada, it's Crown Royal.
No,
I
that's
actually
fair.
have a bottle of Crown Royal after this.
I have one literally
Well.
downstairs right now. I have
We
the
love
apple
Crown.
one.
I don't know why, but we do.
Hey, who knows? Maybe next year we'll do Asian drinking culture as an episode.
Oh my.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
Alcoholism runs in my blood.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, isn't that most Asians? I'm gonna be real. Like,
We should talk about it, honestly.
I get a funny little allergic reaction.
yeah, my dad does too.
No.
I'm so sorry.
I get the flush. It's so bad.
Don't
Yeah.
apologize. It's not your
And my
fault.
friends freak out. They're just like, "Why haven't you stopped drinking?" I'm just like, "It's okay. It's okay. My throat
It's
is
fine.
not being, you know, swollen in a bit. It's fine." They're like, "You look funny." I'm like, "No, I'm okay."
Exactly, it's okay.
I was
I'm gonna be with the boys.
I was
Why
at
do
an
I look
API
funny?
wine tasting like 2 weeks ago, and this guy was like bright fucking red, and I'm like,
Oh
"You
my
okay?"
god.
He's like, "Yeah, I've got allergies." I'm like, "To what?" He's like,
The
"Pollen
alcohol.
and pollen and alcohol." I'm like, "Oh."
Bruh.
Oh my god.
Why are you even here?
You just
For the free
reminded
booze,
me-
duh.
True,
you just
but
reminded me
suffering?
about how I met John Crunchyroll. Oh my god.
What?
Huh?
I went to like I also was at like a beer tasting thing in last October, and the owner of the creator of Crunchyroll was there, and he was just kind of sitting by himself, and he just walks up to me while I'm sitting there by myself, and he goes, "So you're here for the thing?" And we talk a little bit, we shoot the shit, we're talking about like tech stuff, and then he goes, "Yeah, I don't think you've heard of me. Have you heard of a little thing called Crunchyroll?" And I was like, "What the fuck? Are you the John Crunchyroll?"
John Crunchyroll's crazy.
Crunchyroll's wild.
He was like, "Yeah." He explained to me how he made Crunchyroll. I was like, "That's crazy. I met a
Wow.
celebrity."
Wow.
God damn.
Damn.
Dude, you're like a
Does he know
god
Michael
to people,
Hulu?
Like,
Michael.
he sold Crunchyroll for like 15 million a couple years ago. He said,
Damn.
and I was like,
wow.
"Bitch." I was like, "Damn." And he was like, "I'm glad that I did. Sometimes I miss it, but then I look at the news and I'm just like, I'm glad that I sold that."
Wow.
All right, guys.
I will ask John Crunchyroll if he wants to be interviewed by Atra sometime soon.
Sure. Why the fuck not? I would happily interview John Crunchyroll. Why not?
Let's go.
All right, guys. That's been the episode for the first episode of API Vtuber Talks, the food episode. I hope you guys learned a little bit, and you had a fun time listening to us talk about our cultures and food identities, and also a bit about the food influencer culture out there right now, and some of our thoughts about it. It's really important to know that, like, while food may seem superficial, it means a lot to us. So whether you are an aspiring chef or just a home cook or somebody who just wants to be a bit adventurous, keep an open mind and learn a little bit about the history and background, the people who make your food, and the hands that make it, I suppose. I'm gonna let our guests have an opportunity to do some plugs. So, starting with this episode's co-host, Danktopus, go ahead and tell us what you got going on.
Well, for starters, I will be at Fanime this month. If anyone wanted to come and hang out and meet and greet, and I will make meat on a stick Saturday night at the rave because my friends peer pressured me into doing it. So we're gonna be making meat on a stick and passing out like water and soda at the rave Fanime Saturday night this month. I'll also be going to AAPI Expo with a bunch of other VTubers, and I hope that everyone wants to come and hang out. I recently got a Waifu Wears affiliate, so my code Danktopus is eligible for, I think it was 20% off, somewhere around there. And if I get 30 congruent viewers, then I'll be able to get my own cup. And my
Let's go.
viewers want me to get one really bad, so 30 is actually a very low bar for a lot of people here. So if you could sign up for Waifu Wears, I would implore you do it. But like, they are very accepting as well. The very wonderful, nice company. They're very generous. They're very very sweet as well. The owner is a very wonderful person. And on my own channel, Danktopus on everything, I do a lot of not safe for work art streaming on Picarto, and sometimes not safe for work games on Picarto as well. And I do a lot of like variety stuff on my own stream. So I hope that I could see everybody there sometime soon. And go ahead and bug me about your food questions. If you want to know anything about the science and the chemical makeup of certain foods, then I can also tell you that.
Well, thank you very much, Dank. Thank you for being my co-host and my sounding board for this episode. This episode would not have happened without you. You very much helped me to conceptualize, move this forward, and you are a wealth of knowledge. Thank you very, very much. Next up, Squee, what you got going on?
You can find me where all Squee Queens are sold at Squee Queen VT on all social media platforms. I'm mostly hanging out on Twitch, but I am gonna start doing some not safe for work stuff on the Funsly, so keep an eye out for
Hey.
that. Yeah.
Woohoo!
But you'll mostly see me on Mondays and Fridays doing gaming with my partner, Sad Horse, and the rest of the week is usually just open for just cozy chaos usually. But yeah, you can find me there, and I hope that you can bring yourself and any other, just like Dank said, food questions or just generational trauma over there, because that's what we do there. So you're welcome to just let it all out. Hang out with me.
Thank you very, very much, Squee. I always love having you on. You bring such a unique perspective, and frankly, it's just always heartwarming to hear you talk about your family, your background. And I love your stories about your grandfather, too.
Thanks.
You always exude such a warmth, and it's just a joy to always speak to you.
As a sun goddess, I kind of have to.
Right. Zandra, what you got going on?
Well, I've just been streaming on my channel, Zandra Nightshade. That's where you'll find me active and live most of the time. So far it's just been the usual. I play a bunch of horror games. I've got my grubby little hands on Expedition 33.
Ooh.
Probably gonna replay Resident Evil 2 again because I have a very, very bad addiction. I play a lot of Dead by Daylight. I will warn you though, I do scream a lot. I apologize. I'm trying to get that under control so I don't break anyone's eardrums. But other than that, you can find me doodling on Twitter or cosplaying and doing artist alleys around East Coast conventions. I will try to make it to Anime NYC this year, but not quite sure.
I'm gonna kidnap you, Zandra. I'm coming for you.
My 2025, 26 cons are very limited, but like my goals are definitely Anime NYC, and Katsucon as just a normal con goer and not as an artist, because it's been years since I have just attended conventions normally. And I've loved the artist alley like perspective. I've met so many cool people, but sometimes I just want to, be the one spending dollops and walking around.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Zandra, I think, has probably one of the best streamer presence like I've seen in a long time. They're really fun to watch, and I genuinely mean that. Like, they're really engaging, entertaining, and I love watching them play horror games. So go check them out.
Thank you.
Yeah. And last but not least, Efris.
You guys can just find me over in the library here on Twitch, where I do some cozy shit. I'll do handcams. I'm very lurk friendly, so you can just hang out, do your thing while I do my thing together. And I do stuff on the blue site as well, if you're into that.
Yeah, so Efris is a little shit. Anyway, moving on.
Oh,
I
damn.
love you too.
No, I'm joking.
Well, I love you too, Atra.
I'm joking.
No, that's true. It's
No.
he's not
Effy-
joking.
No.
He's not joking, guys.
No. Effy has a great sense of humor, a great cook, always so quick with just everything. Just a lovely, lovely lady. So, thank you. Right, and I've been your host, AtramentumX, right streamer and YouTuber. Once again, this is my passion project. I've been Asian American for all my life, and this is my opportunity to sort of bring it up into the open, I suppose. That was a weird way to put it. I'm nervous. Anyway.
When are you gonna stop being Asian American?
I was gonna say.
When I become a white libertarian, I guess.
Oh my god! No, he's gonna betray us.
I knew it.
Nah, but for real. So this is episode 1 of 5. There'll be 5 episodes this month about various API topics. Check my socials for the other 4 episodes. And tomorrow we'll be back again. Actually, tomorrow we're talking Asian femininity and fetishization, not feminization. That's a different topic entirely.
That's for the depths.
Yep.
Yeah. But for now, we're signing off from the studio, and I'm gonna be sending you guys off to an API artist that I like quite a bit.
Woo!
But yeah, I will see you guys later. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye!